everybody. Welcome to Street Fight Radio, #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We do not give a fuck about your Democratic candidates, any single one of them. Thanks for being here. It's the call-in show. Sunday night, time for a street fight. 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We're taking your calls. That number to dial is 614-655-3887. You can call in, talk to Brian and I. Let us know what's going on in your world. Let us know how bosses are fucking you over in this new day and age. Let us know what's happening in your neck of the woods. We always like to have interesting, fun calls, and Street Fighters are the best. If you want more of what we do, you can find it at streetfightradio.com. We also have a lot of bonus content available over on Patreon, patreon.com/streetfightradio. And now, even if you aren't a Patreon member, I suggest going to patreon.com/streetfightradio. If you sign up to get notified when we do new posts, we do free posts. I put my High Five Fridays out there. I make announcements about tours. There's a lot of information that runs through it. So it's not just a paid platform. If you want to keep up with us and find out when we're going to be in your area, we will put it there first. So if you want to come see Street Fight Radio live, in October, we are going to be in Texas. We're going to be in Austin, Texas on October 14th at the North Door. We're going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on October 16th. That's a Wednesday night at 51st Speakeasy, which I found out is actually owned by the employees. Very cool. Dallas, Texas, October 17th, coming back to where my daughter is from. Sons of Herman Hall. In Deep Ellum, Texas. Kath is saying she wants to do karaoke at Double Wide. I think that's a good idea. I like Velvet Elvis paintings and Yahoo Yehoos or whatever they're called. Also, Friday, October 18th, Houston, Texas, we're going to be doing a show with Party World Wrestling. We're going to be opening things up. We're going to have a separate street fight before. Hopefully, we're in the ring. I want to run the ropes at least once. And that intro is going to be fucking phenomenal. But if you want more information about all of that, head over to streetfightradio.com. On the very front page on the left hand side, you're going to see the brand new show. It has also information about any closing songs that we do, and then on the right hand side has all of our most recent touring information. With that, all that said, let's do this damn thing.
Hey, I care about your Democratic candidates.
You
all
do.
of them.
That's what you're here for.
Care so much about them.
That's what you're here for.
It's me.
It's
I
a
spend
balance.
all my time caring about them.
It's a balance.
Yeah, I care. Also, the Patreon, a lot of activity. On October 1st, October comes out. First episode is Opie and Anthony with me and Felix Biederman. Felix will be along with me on this entire journey. And we'll be looking at Shock Jocks. So sign up. Anything above $5 on the Patreon is going to get the Shocktober. And after that, all the other cool little mini series that we're putting together in the lab, in the Street Fight lab. Just mixing it up.
I recorded the first episode of Small Business Tyrants with Nick from Means TV as well. We complained about business. We got frustrated. Nick said I'm never using union t-shirts again because the one that he printed with, like, the shirts just fell apart.
Oh, no. Ours are great.
Ours are great. No, ours are good. I convinced him to come back into the fold, but it was a good show. That'll be on the $1 stream coming up soon.
Yeah, so, the Patreon's a weird, different place where non-street fight stuff happens, but is tangentially related to street fights. So
and there's
cool.
also, for those of you that need hundreds of hours of content, it's over there.
Yeah. That's been a slow weekend for me. I didn't really do anything. I watched John Wick 3 with the wife.
You've already seen it?
I did. I saw it the day before we went on one of our tours, so it was kind of like a mess in my brain, so I watched it again last night, and it's very good. It's worth watching. There's a lot of killing in it, which is perfect. My wife was like, man, they cover everybody's faces in these movies. I wonder what that's all about. And I'm like, because you're watching a bunch of people get killed. It's great not to see their faces. That's what makes it a good movie.
Wait, she wanted to see, like, their death rattle? She wanted to see their agonized faces?
I think it was just that she noticed whenever somebody comes, like, rolling it, whenever he's got to fight a bunch of faceless people, they're literally faceless people. With, like, and they're in Casablanca for a scene, and she said, is their face, like, covered, like, because they're bad guys, or covered because it's, like, their culture? And I'm like, I think it's covered because people don't like looking people in the eyes when they get their brains blown out. And you, like, watch that happen, like, 100 times in this movie. Is all about blowing people's brains out.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for me to watch, for sure. No, I don't feel bad for any of the bad guys because it's one of those things. It's like bad guys are
Workers.
yes, and generally like probably just going through a rough patch in their life, and that's what made them bad guys. I mean, the main bad guy is a bad guy,
sure,
but like other bad guys, I subscribe to the Leslie Lee III belief on Batman and stuff like that, and that like the people that Batman's beating up are bad guys,
right?
Like, and in the DC universe, they're bad guys, and like the rest of their conditions don't matter to me because it's a fictional world where they're bad guys,
right?
But like, you can't ever get out of the like. It's weird because I can't ever get out of the mindset of like, I'm like kind of a bad guy, for America, like we all live here, we're all part of the thing. It's like
if someone was going to say, hey, I'll give you enough money to pay for your kids' braces if you just guard this tractor trailer for one night, you're like, wow, that's great money, and then all of a sudden John Wick comes and blows your brains out.
I know, that's the thing. Like a lot of people he's killing are trying to kill him, but then a lot of people he's killing are just guarding. They're just guarding some shit, some like fine art that somebody has or something like that. And it's like, whoa, hey, could you fucking sneak?
Yeah, break an arm or something.
Maybe try sneaking a little bit. Or break an arm, All
right, you broke my arm. I'm done. I'm done with the fight.
Yeah. That's how they used to do it back in the day. They would just break an arm.
That's one of the best moments of of Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
When he says, I'm going to break your arm, he's like, you're not going to break my arm. And then he breaks his fucking arm.
Yeah. The thing that they've gotten out of, because I think this is MMA, is the fault for this, is when they used to walk up behind guys and take their neck and just snap it. It's like, what happened to that, man?
Yeah.
I still believe that.
Seagal.
I'm not, I still believe that. I'm not, like, saying it's fake. Do it.
Yes. Seagal, when they got in a fight, it sounded like someone stomping a pile of twigs. Like it was just kneecaps getting busted and arms being pushed the wrong way. Someone getting kicked in both knees so that they walk like a horse for the rest of their life.
It's funny because there's this guy I grew up with that was like a martial arts guy. And he would be like, hey, I tried out to be the Green Ranger. Hey, I got my whatever belt, one of the color belts, by meditating for 9 hours straight while somebody watched me to make sure I didn't do anything else. And the other thing he did, though, he would like, if you were just, I worked with him at Kroger, and he would sneak up to you and then put his arms like in a move around your head and be like, I could have just snapped your neck right there and you'd have never fucking known. And I was always like, that's cool, man, that you can do that. Now I think about it and I'm like, somebody would have. I mean, like, if he would have got in a fight, he never got in a fight in school, which is smart.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a hillbilly school, right? If you go to a school with a bunch of rednecks and you tell them that you know a karate, they're all going to be like, okay.
I want a shot. Give me a shot. I think they're going to say, give me a shot.
You think so? I think they're going to be like, nah, I don't, because he never got in a fight, dude. Not once in school. Nobody fought this guy at school. And he was a shit talker. He talked all kinds of shit about how he could beat you up in this many seconds and shit like that. And it was just incredible that nobody whipped his ass. But then I've told the story before on the show about the guy. My buddy Sean was fighting this guy Angel, who was from like Brazil, and Angel was like built, dude. He was this built guy. He was the first guy I ever saw with like muscles and shit, like real, wasn't like just a big guy, And he shows up, and he's like, I'm gonna kick this guy, right? They're fighting, and he goes to Sean, and he does a roundhouse kick on Sean, okay? Hits him right up here on the shoulder, right up top on the shoulder. Sean didn't even move for a second and just punched him in the face and knocked him out. Like it was nothing. So I've always had a healthy skepticism of karate, is what I'm telling, of martial arts is what I'm saying, I guess, on the show tonight. Like that's just my little thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I agree. And I think most people do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, finding out it's more of a carny thing too is like a little bit weird. Like it's like the way like some things are, the way that it's framed as like this honorable, cool thing, and then you find out later it's like just a class that a guy's running that
is trying to get as many heads in here.
Right.
He's doing number. He's like, I need 20 students per class for X amount of classes per week to bring in enough money to pay me.
Right, and you're thinking like, well, okay, but the belts are like a real thing. And it's like, yeah, but if you're in a class and you don't get a belt after a certain amount of time, you're going to quit. So obviously they're like, because how many classes did you go to as a kid where you just didn't put in any of the work? You know, you were just like, I want to do this. And then you get there, because I'm watching my daughter do it right now with tennis. It's like, she's like, I want to do tennis. I think I like tennis, but she never plays tennis unless she's at tennis practice. She never, after school, just goes and plays tennis. She never reads a book about tennis. She never watches tennis on television.
Like everybody else. It would be nice. I would love to be that.
Really?
I don't, you just say the things that you would love to be, but you like don't want to do the work to do them.
Right. But they're going to keep moving her up in tennis. It's not because they're already saying, like, you know, in the winter you can come and do tennis and you'll be in a higher tennis league and then eventually you'll get to varsity. And it's like, I see the tennis coach is like, I just want a tennis team, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I got this tennis job. I'm getting paid a little extra for this tennis job. I just want there to be a team. I'm going to keep pushing people up so that there's always a team. And I think that about some of the belts too, where it's like people just go to the classes and they're like, you're a brown belt now. And it's just like, that'll be an extra $20 for the belt.
You got to pass a test, dude. You got to pass a test to get your belt.
Okay. Did you see, I guess
those are all earned. All those stripes are earned.
That's true. I guess another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit before we got started, because it's going to be old by Wednesday. Did you happen to catch Joe Biden talking about corn pop?
Oh God!
Did you catch it?
Yes, I saw the aftermath of it.
You didn't see the video.
I didn't see the video.
Okay, plug into your computer. We're gonna watch a video.
How much research have you done
on corn pop?
Yeah,
none.
You think he's fake?
I think corn pop's real.
Okay.
I don't have any reason to believe. I hung out with a guy named Lily growing up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure. Just wanted to make sure where you were. I didn't know where you were at on this because I already found out and then looked at all the detractors and have been through a lot of shit on this. So I just wanted to know where you're at the moment.
I mean, here's the thing, dude. People are named crazy stuff. That's just the facts, Jack.
Well, I mean, yeah, you get a nickname. It's better than having people say your real name. I knew that as soon as I handed acid to a couple of guys and they said, thank you, Brett. And I was like, oh, fuck, I wish I had a different name right now.
Yeah. So here, hopefully this works because I'm feeling like my audio is not working here.
I don't know if I'll be able to hear it. I couldn't hear that theme song.
Are you on OBS?
No, but I can
open
jump
OBS,
over there for
OBS. Yeah. And are you plugged into the network?
For sure.
Okay, so just open OBS and you should be able to hear it.
You gotta plug into your computer.
I will. I figured that much. All right, Brian's comp. All right.
Here we go.
Go for it.
And I learned that.
As I say, I don't hear it.
I hate the internet.
Was that your? Did you?
I just unplugged.
Are you making all those noises?
Here
we go.
It makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and they weren't allowed to. There was a 3-meter board, and if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it.
Oh, my God.
My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors.
Keep in mind, I want to say while this is going on,
there was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end.
It's the craziest
thing. He cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain.
I mean, this
and
is
you
bad.
walk
I mean, I laugh at
say, you may
tragedy.
cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. I said, you kidding me? He said, no, if you don't come back. And he was right. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And they had, in those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at him, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you, Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, close the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again.
He's saying this to a crowd of black folks at the pool, I guess, that's named after him, right?
Yes, at the pool that's named after him, at the Joe Biden pool. He's explaining how, corn pop, you know? And the thing I like about it is that he tells the story of them making their razor blades rusty so that they could cut them and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, what a story, you know?
Yeah, totally awful. I mean, because the thing about it is that it's not in the time where you can say, so that's how I was able to get along with a lot of, black people.
Yeah.
He's like telling this story and you're supposed to be like, oh, he can handle tough thug gangsters.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, look at the fact that he goes and that's the audience. He looks at that audience and he's like, I know, I'll tell the story of corn pop. That's the story I'll tell this on. Like,
yeah,
he wouldn't have told that to a fucking white audience, dude. You know?
No, it was, I'm tough. I'm one of you. It's really it's exactly why he shouldn't be the president. Mm-hmm. And it's totally unnecessary information.
It also, though, did remind me of people that I grew up with. Like, as soon as he started telling the story, it was just like all those occasions where you're about to get beat up, and you somehow get past it or you get beat up, which I have done both.
Sure.
Like, I've been beat up, I've been not beat up. It's very great.
Goes both ways.
That's corn pop. And I think we can take some calls now, Brett. You ready to take some calls?
You really had to get that out there.
I needed to play corn pop because I just love it.
It's such a, it's just, that's one of those things where, Uncle Joe Biden is fine because Uncle Joe Biden reminds us of family reunions where people will tell a crazy story like that.
That's true.
But that's not somebody that I would make the president.
Or even that's not somebody I would even put in any position
No.
of power. It's not even I don't even think of it like the president, dude. I think of it like I wouldn't make him anything. Like, I wouldn't even governor, any of that stuff. I'm just, it's unfucking believable that a guy like that, is even that far up in the polls. And that after telling that story, there's people already defending him and saying
people like that stuff.
Yeah, they love it. That's what they think is cool about him. Very uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable. And it is part, it fits the narrative of there's really tough. These black communities are so tough just because those people are so dangerous. It's not because people like Joe Biden are starving them of resources.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just
absolutely.
Yeah. This is why I stay out of it. This is why I don't want to be involved with this.
This is why. Okay,
this is just so infuriating.
Sorry, dude. You got to be involved. That's just all there is to it.
All right,
that's all there is to it. You got to be involved. It's unfortunate, but you're there. You're right here. You have to do it.
He's going to be my president. It's blue no matter who.
He is. He is going to be your president. Oh, yeah. Well, you tell your wife you're not going to vote for Joe Biden. I'll sit there. She might. I think my wife is going to care. I think I'm going to get beef for it.
Sure.
If I say I'm not going to do it, she's going to be like, no. That is, you're going to do it. You, actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is going to suck, but, you got to do what you got to do. You do what they tell you. You're a wife. You get married. You do what they tell you. That's just the way that it is. And that's how I live. That's how I live my life. I just do what I'm told,
Vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah, you got to, I guess. I mean, I don't want to, but it is you do feel in a way, you don't feel in a way like I I have to, because things could, like, I know that things can be worse. You know, like, I know that things can actually get worse. And I guess that's like my thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're about the same with that story that I just heard.
That's
so
true.
I don't give a
They're
shit.
like
I mean,
the same
it's
guy.
the nicer version. It's just the one that says they care about you before they stab you in the back. That's
True.
Democrats versus Republicans.
Yeah, I dislike him. I hate him.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up, fellas? It's Lucas from what I would say is arguably the least street fight state.
Okay,
Which state
can I
you
guess? Yeah, I want to guess.
Yeah.
Now, Utah?
Nope, not
Okay,
Utah.
one more guess. I know a state that is definitely the least street fight state. Las Vegas, Nevada.
Connecticut.
Okay, well, Connecticut, we do well in the Northeast, though. That's the thing.
We haven't been there, have we?
Yeah, but we got a lot of Connecticut people.
I don't believe you have.
We got a lot of Connecticut people at the Portland, Maine, and Boston show. I think Connecticut people could like us, but it is a very rich place.
What's in there? Oh, Hartford. Oh, that pizza. You guys have that good fucking pizza.
Yep, they got good pizza.
Yeah, New Haven.
Well, what's going on tonight?
I called in a couple weeks ago and vented some frustrations I was having getting a job for my client. I'm a PCA.
I remember.
Yeah.
And since then, we have gotten a job, and we're working at a cider mill now, which is fantastic. There's like a petting zoo there, and he's got to help take care of the animals, and we polish a lot of apples, and it's going real cool. But I wanted to call in and talk more about my union, which I'm also part of, and that's getting more active. I posted a picture on the page the other day. We're doing this placard thing where we send our complaints in, and I wanted to give a little update on that because I'm getting slowly more involved in that by accident, all unintentionally.
Okay, explain a little bit what the what union it is and what's happening.
So it's 1199 SEIU, and it's a home health care workers union. The state of Connecticut pays, or they have financial intermediaries that like go between the two organs. Oh, you know, as I'm telling it, I'm worrying like this is kind of like a plan we have to. There's an action plan, and I don't think it's publicized. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think it's safe to talk about on Street Fight?
I would say
to...
in the union, people will hear it, but I don't think the other people will. But I think, I mean,
you don't want to get in trouble.
You can cut it off. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a little paranoid now. I don't know.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
I
dude.
think that I do agree that most people are paranoid, but like inside of your social groups, if you're organizing and someone hears you go tell all the plans on a radio, they could have a problem with it. So I worry more about your friendships, you know?
Yeah. Because if you're in a union, there's probably street fight people in the union. I know that there are a lot.
Well,
pretty common.
It's yeah, okay. So I won't talk so much about the union stuff, but I got bit by a pig. I could tell a story about that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, how'd you get bit by a pig?
Well, at the job with my client, where he's helping taking care of these animals in the petting zoo, there's this pig, and I love animals, and I was super excited to be working with this pig, and I was feeding it extra apples and like giving it good pets behind the ears. And then when I was trying to open its pen one day, it bit my finger. And now I don't know where I stand with this pig. I thought we were cool, and now I'm like semi-afraid of it.
Well,
Yeah.
pigs eat people, by the way. That's just a famous thing I've learned from many crime movies. You feed people to pigs after you kill them. So I don't think that pig's on your side. I'm just guessing. And also, here's the thing. I know people love animals, but they will bite you. I don't think they love you. I don't know. I'm trying not to be a penis about animals these days.
No.
I'm trying to be an asshole about animals these days.
I mean, if you are around me enough, I will fucking bite you. Right? I mean, like, everybody has a bad day.
Right. So you think the pig had a bad day, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, you get both. You get love and hate.
That's true.
We're all both sides. We're not just one thing.
I would try to give it another rub again, but I could also see, like I said, I could also see it happening where this damn thing's going to bite you again. I'm afraid of all
what hurt me
animals,
more is
though.
the chomp on the finger.
What was it?
I don't eat animals, and like I was telling everybody at the petting zoo, like, oh, you know, pigs are smarter than dogs. Like dropping all my cool pig facts because pigs are awesome. And then it bit me, and I was like, what the hell, dude? I thought we were tight, and now that hurts more than the finger wound, which was minor. Like I just put some Neosporin on it and cleaned it up, and it's fine. But yeah,
I mean,
I'm just stung personally.
That pig was smart enough to know about fucking hubris.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you right now, I'm afraid of pigs, and I would never get even. I'm like afraid of anything that's not human. Like, and I'm afraid of a lot of humans too. But basically, if something's not human and I can't like talk to it and be like, hey, you know, don't bite my hand if I touch you, which I don't go around touching a lot of people. And I'm sure if I touched a person I didn't know, they would have every right in the world to bite my hand. But I am just a person that's like, I don't touch anything. I've been bitten by too many dogs in my life. Cable guy, it's a job where you get bit by dogs and scratched by cats. That's just part of the thing, and I'm afraid of animals. So I would have never even touched the pig. I would have been too nervous. So I'm saying you're brave and misguided.
Yeah, well, I'll call in again after union action takes place, and maybe my relationship with the pig has improved a bit.
Let us know. Hey, we want to know about
content.
We want to know about union stuff. We just don't want to get people in trouble. So have a good night. We have gotten people in trouble before, so
yeah, they can happen.
we will err on the side of caution this time.
Will you bite the hand that feeds? If I'm a pig, the answer is yes.
I mean, I am just like, I've been bitten by like 100 dogs. Conservatively, 100 dogs.
Bit versus a nip is a different thing.
No, it's bit. That's all bit to me.
No, some of them are like just, you know, letting you know they're there, and then some of them are like trying to rip your clothes off.
Right, I'm saying that like when I got bitten by dogs, they were just mad.
Oh, that was bit, yeah.
You know what I mean? They were just mad as hell at me, and they were coming to bite you. I don't care if they nibble, but I never play with dogs. That's the thing. I never play with them because the only dogs I really come in a lot of contact with are my parents, who are really tall dogs that stick their nose in your fucking dick and balls and ass, and then my in-laws who have small dogs who annoy the shit out of me too and like bite me and you know, climb around in my dick and balls and ass, which I don't know, maybe my dick and balls and ass smell like something they like or something like that, but it is the worst feeling in the world to have a dog up your
yeah. Well, you got a lot of
shit.
You got a lot of bacon grease down there.
I don't have any grease down there. I don't keep food in my pockets or wrapped around my penis or anything. It's clean down.
Dogs love duck butter.
No, it's clean down. I'm clean. I clean all the time.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? This is someone's called a bunch.
It's the big guy.
Oh, hey,
the big guy. We thought you called last week. I guessed wrong on one.
No, I didn't call last week.
I know you sound. You sound like soberer now. You sound like the business guy.
Oh, do I? Because I'm like stoned out of my mind.
Okay. Well, I think maybe
California
the big guy,
sober.
Yeah, I think
you've made that mistake twice.
We'll call it.
Sorry, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
No, I just checking in on you guys. How you guys doing? How you guys handling the whole?
This is not the big
Joe
guy.
Bungler.
I'm kidding. How are we handling Joe Biden?
Yeah, old Joe Bungler.
That's great. He is the second coming of O'Bungler. He's Joe Bungler.
He's the guy, you know. He's like, if you're doing a comedy show, he's a slam dunk, I think, is the thing. Because he just is going to...
Because he's old and creepy and, like, extremely liberal.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think the age has anything...
He's a real good target.
I mean, I don't think the age has anything to do with it because I have seen lots of people that have an advanced age that still keep it together. He is just losing it, further. Like, he's just leaning into it now.
Right, but think about Bernie and Bernie jokes. I mean, there's plenty of jokes about Bernie's age.
He's too old for me, for sure.
Everybody finds hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally okay with making fun. I would hate to say
Like the Bernie Thoughts Twitter account where he's like ranting about Arby's and stuff like that. Like that's, I mean, it just comes with the territory that, you know, if you're kind of old, it's easy to dunk on you.
right, and I think like I think like some of the people are less fun to make fun of. Obviously, Bernie is not fun to make fun of because people get so mad about it and take it so personal that you can't. Like if you do it, then you get yelled at. But Joe Biden is fun to make fun of. I think Cory Booker is incredibly fun to make fun of.
I love that guy.
Cory Booker is hilarious.
I know. He just released a sticker. I posted it on Twitter just now. He released a sticker after the debates, and it said, "Vote, Dagnabbit." And it said, I mean, he's a king, right?
I mean, it's because everybody was happy when, like, Beto said damn or something?
He's been cussing a lot. Beto's been
cussing candidate.
Because lately, like even earlier in the week, he posted, "Hell yeah, we're taking your AR-15." I was this guy, he found his thing. He's the guy that cusses. He's the angry guy that cusses all the time. I mean, whatever. It's like honest. It sounds honest.
It should be closer to that.
But he is also a guy. Here's the problem with him. Here's the problem. We know that he is sort of.
Y'all want to know something about like Beto?
Yeah.
He is the quintessential Texas Democrat. Every Texas Democrat I know is like, oh, they said damn, how edgy, and I don't know. He's a very, and like he went to UT and he lives in a big city. He kind of knows Spanish. You know, he's a very quintessential Texas archetype.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, amongst the churchgoers and people, it seems blasphemous to say that kind of stuff.
He also, part of him that annoys me, though, is like, okay, like he's cussing more, which is the way people talk, which is closer to what I think you want a candidate to do. You know, like, because I think part of the reason Trump won maybe is because he talks like people talk. You know, not like normal people, but like the people that voted for Trump talk like Trump. Like that's how they talk in their everyday life, you know? And like I think a guy like Beto is a machine guy. Like he seems like he comes from a Democratic machine and that he cussed. I think he cussed once and then the poll number bumped like a percentage. And then he cusses now all the time. Like now he's like figuring out like I got to be like the cussing cowboy. That's who I got to be now.
No, he's playing a North Central Texas college liberal. That's his demographic. That's what he runs. Like,
true.
I know so many people that are just like they love Beto so much, and because that's like his demographic, you know. I don't know. People act like he's a machine or whatever, but I mean, he's really got a demographic. He's a real person, which is also frightening. Which is, you know, just as frightening.
Hello.
So
who are you?
Good old Texas perspective.
Yeah, I'd like to ask that with Texas having your own candidate in the Democratic primaries for like probably the first time in a while. Who
what
are
about
you?
Rick Perry?
The Democratic primary.
Sorry.
Who are you seeing the most of? Like what kind of people are you seeing the most? What kind of people are you seeing the most people for? Is it Beto down in Texas? We're headed down there. I want to know if we're dealing with a lot of Beto people or
I need to know if I need to stand on a stool at the beginning of the show to get their attention.
I don't know. It depends on where you're going. Beto's pretty popular in like Denton, DFW, Austin, El Paso. He's pretty popular in quite a lot of places.
We're going to Dallas.
Houston. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, people like Beto in Dallas.
It sounds about right to me, to tell you the truth. When I went to Dallas, the one thing I realized is that if there's liberals there, they're probably like the real kind of liberals. Like, they got money out there. Dallas is a money place, you know? They got all that oil out there.
I really think Beto really overextended his popularity. He would be a good candidate for any kind of position in Texas. He could probably challenge Ted Cruz in a few years again and beat him. But president, I mean, people just don't know him enough outside of Texas to give a fuck, really.
Right. I think an interesting thing is that, like, he was one of those crooked media guys. Like, crooked media was really pushing him, the Pod Save America people. That they were like really pushing him. And I think, like, with guys like Willie Nelson, there were a lot of, like, Texas famous people that were really into Beto. And I could see being Beto and being like, shit, I'm famous. Like, look how famous I am. Everybody loves me because Willie Nelson likes me. You know what I mean? And like, I talked about this on the first episode of Shocktober, but it's like, when you're a person who has fans, that will tide you over for the first little piece of whatever project you're doing. Like, having fans.
You want to know what's bullshit? You want to know what's bullshit that I saw a lot of people criticize? That, like, and here's the thing. I don't want to defend anything that Beto has done because he is just a shit lib, and I don't agree with basically any of his politics at all. But when he did the Dodge Caravan campaign ad where they're like, oh, just filling up the Dodge minivan.
Yeah.
That costs us like $20-some-odd. Can you donate that? And everybody was like, oh, they probably calculated that number, or they like focus grouped it or whatever. And I was like, no, they didn't want you to see. That's the donation they wanted. They wanted you to see the minivan and think, oh my God, he drives a minivan. That's pretty hot. Because that's the demographic he's like pulling out here.
Well, that's what I roll up in too. So right. I know the type.
Yeah.
Right, and what I was saying is just like, when you have fans, the fans are good solace for a period, right? But then you start to seek respect. Once you start to get respect from your peers and people who are maybe above you in the world, you start to then count them as shit. Like, you believe in it. And I think that, like, what happened with him was that, like, it would be very hard for me to not start believing in myself if the amount of people that believed in Beto O'Rourke believed in him. But again, it's like this vast overestimation of politically savvy people where, like, almost nobody in Ohio knew who Beto O'Rourke was. Almost nobody in like any other state but Texas knew who he was unless they were listening to Pod Save America, you know? So that's what I think. Big guy, it is good to hear from you again.
Yeah, it's good to be on.
You got to call back more, man.
We're coming to your part of town.
Yeah, we got to meet up, man. You got to come and meet up with us, big guy.
Listen to our show.
All right, I'll get back in the loop, and I'll see. I'll call y'all back.
Okay, you call back. Thanks, big guy. We miss you. Thanks for calling in,
You know,
buddy.
you don't know this, but every single show we've done, we put one ticket for big guy just to see if you would come and accept it.
Yep. That was the plan. All right, have a good night, big guy. Yeah. It is funny to think about, like.
The Trillbillies posted that video. They showed it to us on Hellfire, but that woman that's driving the car.
No,
have you seen it?
I don't.
There was some fan doc that was made for Beto when he's running against Cruz, and there's this woman that's driving in a car, and she's like, yeah, Ted Cruz is going to realize real quick that there's a new kid in his town. His name is fucking Beto, and you better pack your shit up and get out of here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude.
The people, that's the only hope you have. I mean, I lived in Dallas for a brief period of time, and, like, it was very overwhelming to not just be like, oh, yeah, I guess, some people are milking. I guess your friend is actually milking the system. You know, like, they would just hit you or like when I came into work and someone was like, I'm tired of hearing about these genetically modified fucking chicken sandwiches. I'll eat whatever the fuck I want and not have people worry about it for me. And it's like, all right.
I know. I was listening to YKS this week, Brett, and they went to the Huckabee show live.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, they do free shows. Huckabee does his show. You can go be a part of the audience for free.
Where at?
In Nashville.
Oh, that's close to us.
I know. So Mike and
Next time Korn is on there, I want to see.
Yeah, so Mike and Jesse went to see the Huckabee taping, and they said there was a comedian like kind of warming it up.
Yeah, they do that.
And
they would like try to get him to like, they want to get him to, they record the audio and then they use that later.
Yeah. And
as crowd noise.
One of his bits was about KFC making vegan bucket of chicken, and the fucking audience booed and like got crazy mad about the fact that KFC made a vegan bucket of chicken.
Yeah. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, no.
I thought they were going to be like, wait, we welcome our non-meat eating brothers and sisters.
No, but imagine why would you be, what is to be mad about there?
Because
like,
we're losing
God damn it. Vegan chicken? What do they think of next?
We're losing our American values, and these cultural Marxists are going to push their plant-based meat products on us.
Dude,
you know,
if it tastes the fucking same, right?
It don't.
What do you mean?
It's gotta taste like death, right?
No,
you can taste it when something lost its life.
Chicken especially. First of all, the Impossible Whopper tastes exactly the same as the Whopper. It's like there's no difference. It does make your tum hurt, but that's fine. So
that's the normal does.
Yeah, they're both
delivers
your tummy
in both
hurt.
ways.
Yeah,
it's about 14 grams of saturated fat each go round.
But I mean, they figured out chicken 10 years ago. You know, I've been hanging out with you for 10 years, and you've been eating that chicken for 10 years. It tastes like chicken. It's not a hard thing to do. Chicken isn't like a ton of flavor, you know? And, I mean, what is this big fucking problem? Why would they have a problem with people eating less meat? Like, nobody is telling them they can't have the regular bad chicken. Because I would eat the vegan chicken.
They're scared.
Yeah.
They think it's going to get taken away.
They can't.
I think the moment that I say I like this, they're going to say we don't do meat chicken no more at KFC.
True.
We just do plant-based chicken now.
I know you
have to pay You have to pay $60 for a family meal now.
Yeah. Well, we
have vegan mac and cheese. It's only $14 a pound. We have vegan mashed potatoes. They're $25 a pound. And now when you go to KFC, it's $100 for your family.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what they're afraid of. It's going to be taken away from them. You can't get a bucket of chicken anymore on the way home and have everybody be happy. Yeah. Now people are thinking about supply side economics and where their food comes from.
It's just no skin off their back is what I'm trying.
Like, it is. I know.
Like
it doesn't affect you at all.
It's like no skin off my back. What I eat meat, dude, and I don't care.
It makes other people feel bad.
Why?
Because they come up in their mind that like what I'm doing is a matter of saying like I'm making a better decision than you and I'm living my life better and I'm now judging you, when it's really like, oh shit, vegan chicken through a drive-through, I want that. Like that's all it comes down to, is like whether or not it's available. Like all the trash ass places have been there since I've been alive.
Yeah.
So when the new stuff comes out, I'm not trying to say everybody, but they imagine this world where everybody's like, whoa, why would you eat regular chicken,
Or they imagine a world where capital, like where, I guess, like, it's this weird thing, because, like, it's capitalism. Burger King and KFC were losing customers, obviously, because there's a bunch of people that don't eat meat. And when we're traveling, especially, you have to settle a bunch of times for like bullshit. Like
KFC, what I normally do is I get a family-size order of green beans and eat the whole thing. And it's a lot of green beans. It's too many.
Right.
But you need that fiber on the road.
Right. And you need, and the thing
nutrients.
Is, like, they want your money.
Yeah.
They want you, they would like to also have your money along with the meat people's money.
And that's true. It is weird because coming from like a red-blooded American patriot audience, you would expect them to be like, yeah, make your money, right? Like, this is capitalism. You're really doing it. Because, like I told you, as soon as Burger King came out with that Whopper, I've spent $0 with them in the last 10 years. And then all of a sudden, I had spent $140 with them in 1 month.
I buy it all the time.
It's just anytime it's around, I'll just like toss me one,
Yeah.
Throw me a Whop.
I'm hungry. I might as well have a Whopper.
Yeah. I got a big hunger that needs satisfied right now. I want something that's larger than your average fucking hamburger. I want something that's splayed out, something that's comfortable.
Well, yeah, and it is just something that you've had all your life.
Yeah.
That is there.
I thought I would
that
never
you
have it
now
again.
get
I
to
gave it
have.
up. Like when I did vegetarianism, it was like, you're never gonna get a Whopper again, and I'm like, I can live with that. Like I was shutting the door on that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they open it right back up. I'm like, we changed our mind. We want you back.
Yeah. That's funny though that like you got to live. So you became a vegetarian when it was like nobody was like doing anything for it.
Oh,
You would get a Morning Star at Burger King,
Yes,
sort of thing.
That was it. That was the biggest development in fast food, was that they would put a Morning Star in the microwave and put it on a bun for you.
Right. So there was that, but then you got to live until they all decided like we need to get him back.
Yeah.
Now you're
It worked.
the guy.
This is the only boycott in my life that has actually fucking worked. Where they've won me back.
You're gonna be quarter pounders next year. You're gonna have a quarter pounder with cheese next year.
As soon as that bucket of chicken is available, my wife is gonna be like, "You want to pick up a bucket on the way home from the gym or from the library or like?" She's just gonna be like, "I don't want to cook tonight. Let's just get a bucket of chicken."
We're gonna eat so many buckets of chicken.
Let's get green bucket of chicken.
The Quinby house is gonna be eating buckets of chicken because my wife is a vegetarian.
Yeah,
and she definitely will want a bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
Although the bucket of chicken, here's the thing. Before we take this next call.
Oh no! Now I don't want to have to fight you about this as a non-meat eater.
The bucket
You're
of chicken.
so picky, and you get to eat all of it, and you pick.
I know but it's like the worst option.
How?
At KFC. And the sandwiches are better. Just if you're going to fast food, you just get a sandwich. You don't want to make. I'm gonna say this. You don't want to make meat the main event at a fast food restaurant.
That's the only event. Oh, you mean you need to put it between bread?
Yeah. You
Cover
put
it with bread and sauce and LTO.
Yeah, that's how I've always felt.
That makes sense.
You never want to make the meat the main event.
I don't know, man. KFC catered a lot of funerals and weddings in my life growing up, so I think they've really got something going for them. They know how to make a main event.
That's true.
Plus, you get the mix of the white and the dark meat. Oh man, the big problem is going to be when we get back to whenever that cloned meat comes out. That's going to be an interesting episode of Street Fight because I might give that shit a shot.
I'm going vegetarian when the cloned meat
stuff
comes
when they
out.
grow the laboratory grown meat stuff, like that nothing was alive. They just cloned some cells and grew it into something.
That day is when I become a vegetarian again.
You have to clone shit.
Yeah, I don't.
Was that alive or was that just some like clone cells?
Again, I drink Soylent every morning, and on the side of the Soylent thing, it says proudly using genetically modified stuff. You know, I don't care.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't fucking bother me at all. I've been
Yeah.
eating it all my life, and we have been eating in the life that we live. Me and you, we've been eating genetically modified foods the entire fucking time
from the jump.
Yeah. It's not going away either.
Yeah.
It's always going to be here, you know? So,
there's a lot of classism involved with that and eating clean and all that too. But we will take our next call and see what they have to say about any of the
KFC, probably.
Basically just what they think about vegan chicken.
Yeah.
Hey there, what do you think about vegan chicken? We're Street Fight.
Hello.
Hey, is it me?
This is you. Who's this?
Hey, guys. How are my number one boys?
We're very happy. This is Kate, Garbage Kate on Twitter,
Yes.
right? What's up, Kate? How are you?
Thank you. That's correct. I'm doing all right. I'm actually skipping the best show on television tonight to call in and talk to you guys. My baby Succession on HBO, which I've got at the top say that I have a podcast about the show with my amazing friends Brendan and Gabby. And it's called The Roycast, and you can follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at _TheFlyGuys, and feel free to subscribe, rate, and review. And I'm so sorry that I had to do that.
Kate,
but
it's fine.
It's especially relevant. It's really relevant because we're going to talk about my ketamine experience, and ketamine plays a critical role in the show, in the plot of the show. So, it's totally on brand.
Yeah,
I love it.
I haven't. I watched the first 4 episodes. I think
What's
what I'm
the
gonna
show called?
Succession. I think what I'm gonna do is have my wife watch it with me because it's totally the type of thing she would like. And I think a lot of times if I sit down with another person and they like something, it rubs off on me. That's my tactic.
You're a peer pressure guy for sure.
Oh God, more than anything.
Anyone who's listening to this show knows that.
Yeah, I bullied so many people into watching this show. It's really embarrassing.
Well,
I've PMs Brian privately. Sorry, Brian.
Well, it's not. The thing about it is like I didn't think it was particularly like a bad show. It was just at the time you ever like at a time like have something hit you at a time that is like not prime for something hitting you, and it was like
totally.
when I watched that show, I don't know what else I was watching or what I was doing. I was just like, this is a bunch of fucking rich people bullshit, and stopped watching it. But like I remember liking it every week when I watched it, so I don't know. I was probably in a bad mood one night and then decided not to watch it anymore. I'm gonna give it another shot. But Kate, I had you call in because you're doing some groundbreaking shit out there in California, right?
That's right, baby.
I'm actually planning to do this. Yeah, ketamine. You're getting ketamine treatments, right?
Special K, yes. I'm doing ketamine infusion for treatment depression, treatment-resistant depression, but it also like totally helps anxiety and stress and things like that, which I've been learning a lot about, and it rules.
Are you so? Yes, I mean, is this something through your doctor, or is this on your own? I mean, is this experimental? Me and Brian, like, we looked it up in, like, California. We found all these places, and then Brian looked at home, and he's like, there's, like, 100 places in fucking Ohio doing this right now, too. So it seems like it's kind of under the radar at the moment. Every time I was in a K-hole, it was in the passenger seat of, like, a Chevy Cavalier, so it was not, like, the ideal situation. But I could imagine...
Oh, God, that sounds...
I mean, that was what it was at the time. It was like everybody got fucked up and then woke up like hours later and like, you know, that was amazing, you know?
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah, it's an alternative.
So I'm sorry, go ahead and explain the process to me.
Well, I was just going to say it's an alternative therapy for, you know, treatment-resistant depression is like its main thing that it's known for, but like it can help bipolar, anxiety, and actually also people with pain. But you know, it sucks because it's not covered by insurance, and so it's super expensive. But it's like a miracle drug, like no joke in terms of its results. It rewires your brain, and so it's like becoming more and more popular.
It does rewire your brain? You mean like the positive thoughts that you're having there, like get your neurons to fire in like a more positive way, you think?
Okay, so yeah, so like, okay, for my own experience, I'll tell you a little bit about my mood, and then I can give you like maybe like the fucking dumbed down science version without like going too much. But I did my first session Monday, and over the course of the week, like Tuesday, I was down and it was kind of rough. And I had some issues kind of pop up, which maybe we'll get to throughout the week that kind of affected my mood and stuff. That was a side effect. But like tonight, like the last couple days and stuff, like I'm sleeping maybe literally half the amount of time I slept before, first of all. And my mood is definitely elevated. So yeah, it rewires your brain, and you know, if you want to know a little of the science, that's fine. If not, you know, it's kind of dull, but it's pretty amazing.
So the you're going to this once. How often are you going to these sessions?
So usually they're twice a week. That's like the most effective way to go. And I had an appointment scheduled for Thursday as well, but I had a negative side effect, which is for people with prior bladder conditions, it can inflame it. And so I learned a great new thing about my body.
In your bladder.
And that's, yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, it's been a little bit of a hassle with that. And the doctor wanted to give, like, my bladder a week to kind of calm down instead of, like, pushing for the next one. But it's more therapeutic to do it twice a week.
Okay, and how guided are these sessions? I mean, are they giving you like a heroic dose that literally gets you in a K-hole? Are they like are they talking to you? I mean, what's a typical session like time wise as well? I mean, that sounds like, I mean, shit. The last time I did it, it was like a whole day.
Oh wow! though. Yeah, because
I mean, not like
recreational K is like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, doing it, like, there's also the chasing it down. There's meeting up with the right people.
Yeah.
There's like all of that stuff, and it just is like a very big to do.
Right, for sure. This is a whole to do as well. I mean, I was like, definitely, you know, I felt weird afterwards, and have lost some items that day of mine, which were kind of valuable. But so like, clinics are different. My guy is in the room with you, but most clinics are not. They're watching you via video camera. Is the easy, quick version.
And how long are you in the chair? How long are you doing it?
Yeah, so it's like a 2-hour session. Again, kind of clinics can differ, but it's a 2-hour session, and like the first hour is just him talking and asking like, how'd you do this week, etc., kind of shit. And then like, then you get plugged into the IV, you know, needle, and you have a 15-minute to an hour ketamine trip.
Ooh.
Which rules?
This sounds incredible to me. Like, to go sit and have a doc, because like that's always the thing with like tripping when people. I guess when I only have experience with like I've never done ketamine. I've done acid, I've done Molly, and I've done mushrooms. And like the only time it ever gets scary is like when you're like, I think I might die doing this.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting at a doctor's office and you just turn your head and there's a doctor sitting there, you're like, all right, then, right on.
There's a guy with a clipboard that just gives you a thumbs up, like, no, you're fucking rocking it right now. You're like really getting therapy in real deep right now.
Like, I never have that feeling when I go to the hospital and they put me on the propofol, and I love being on that.
I do.
I never get that feeling at the dentist office when I'm on
gas.
It's always like, this fucking rocks, dude. I love this.
I did fentanyl when I had my when they scoped me. I did fentanyl, and I woke up. I was like, hey, I felt like I was fucking Frank Sinatra.
I know. I've always felt like, and it's interesting that they're doing it this way, because I want to talk about how you found the doctor and stuff too. But it is funny. I used to think, like, wouldn't it be great if there was a recreational hospital too that you just went to and they administered the drug?
Yeah, so we'll have we'll have a public hospital, and we'll have the actual for-profit hospital where they watch you do all your favorite drugs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
No, it should be covered under Medicare for all.
Okay, well, I'm fine with that too. You know, the recreational hospital.
That's right.
But how did you find what was the process like, finding the doctor and getting sort of prescribed ketamine, you know? Because that seems to me, that seems like the part to me that seems daunting.
As soon as I show up, I feel like they're going to say no. They're like, you can get it on your own. You're doing enough ketamine and acid and cocaine on your own. You don't need us.
Yeah. It's funny you guys mentioned that, because that's part of my experience during the trip, was like me laughing at the whole absurdity of the fucking situation. Like, I paid for this. I'm tripping. You know, the
that is
doctor
weird.
Sitting here watching me, like, my parents are in the other room. They might hear me laughing. You know, and some patients get embarrassed. He says, you know, like, because they feel silly. Like,
yeah, that's true. I've thought about like dosing older members of my family that I feel like need to be awakened, but at this point they are so entrenched in like the status quo that it probably would just be mortifying for me. And like for me, it feels like a breakthrough if I go back to like a childlike state and learn something about myself. For them, they just feel like they were embarrassed the whole time, you know. Like I can blame it all on substances. For them, they're like, oh, that was the real me, and it's really bad, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I kind of answered half your question. I apologize. Like I said, there's like so much to say about this.
For sure.
I'll just say quickly, finding the clinic was just Google, but I did do a consultation at a different place first. And they're like get you in and out. They're cheaper. They're like, you know, get you in and out the fucking door. You're on video camera with other people in the room that are on ketamine.
No. That sounds like a fucking. That sounds like an opium den to me. I don't want that. It's a shooting gallery. Yeah, I don't want that. Laying in like an office park. You're just laying in an office park tripping with like 4 other fucking people.
Like, oh no, don't worry about them. But once you get hooked up, you won't even notice that they're there.
Yeah. That's that.
Well, that's true. but the nurses are coming in and because they have to check your vitals and stuff every once in a while. So that's like totally, your brain is like, gets super confused on ketamine. So you're like, who is the, like, I can imagine it spiraling for me and being bad.
Yeah. So we actually have a lot of listeners that that don't get involved with illegal substances the way that we do. So what is your experience level like leading up to this? Have you done some Special K before, or was this your first go round?
Well, no comment. But I have definitely done psychedelics throughout my life, which I think, like helped prepared me to not like freak out.
Yeah.
Because you're comfortable with being altered.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's like
that's how I felt.
And it sounds to me like I think people probably most of our, I would say a good portion of our listeners probably have just drank and smoked weed. Those are like the two things that they've had. And I think having never
missing out.
right, yeah, there's so much better stuff. But if tripping is like a whole separate thing, and like sometimes it can be scary to totally disassociate, but honestly, like for me, I've cut down a lot on the weed I'm smoking because you don't dissociate, and I feel like I'm half in the real world and half stoned, and I'm out of control, and it freaks me out a little bit. So like I've like cut way down. I think I do better. I think I do a lot better if I just fucking eat an eighth of shrooms. You know what I mean?
You're just saying you need like a complete brain reset instead of just being like on a half in, half out.
Right. I need to just 100% break from reality. I need to be gone out of this world, because then I'm like, okay, well, I'm on drugs. That's why I feel this way.
Yeah.
But when I get stoned a lot of times, I just sit around and get fucking nervous. Like I just sit around. Yeah. I get scared because I'm half in and half out. You never know what's gonna fucking happen. And it makes me think of all the bad things that could happen, like while I'm sitting there. Yeah, that's why I've cut it down.
The only thing I worry about is that, like, if my daughter gets hurt or if I get hurt, they're going to blame it on fucking drugs. And I've spent my entire life being really good at drugs and taking care of everything else. And I feel like the paper's just going to say Brett Payne was a bad father because he was on drugs.
Yeah, that's probably, they probably wouldn't know. But yeah, so when you went to the doctor's office, can I ask, like, I don't know how to ask this without sounding like a dickhead or anything, but is it scuzzy or anything? Does it feel shady when you go to get these done?
Were they trying to sell you like illegal canisters of nitrous from a dentist's office when you left?
It's precisely the opposite. Both clinics I've been to are located on the beach in different areas of Southern California.
Nice.
Literally across from the beach. And it's like decked out in like fancy furniture and art and shit like that, I guess, to like counteract maybe what some people would anticipate and like, stigmatize.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's super nice and fancy.
Yeah.
That's great. Cause like the thing about it is like, I think I get nervous thinking of walking in. Like when I pictured it, when you started telling me that you were doing it, I'll tell you what I pictured. You go to an office park somewhere in an industrial part of town where like there's also warehouses and just offices, and you walk into like what is just an office. It could have been a real estate office. It could have been any other kind of office in the world. You walk in there.
People that like money.
And there's cubicles lined up, and then you just go sit in a cubicle, and like a guy walks in and gives you ketamine and then like walks out. Like I get real worried about, I don't know, like, because it is one of those when you have to start thinking about doctors, right? And it's like the doctor that would get in early on ketamine. It's like, is he a doctor
kind of
that
wants to be a drug dealer?
Is he the doctor that has a passion for helping people, or is he a doctor that just is like, well, I can make a bunch of money selling drugs here?
This guy is like such a believer in ketamine. Like you can feel it. Like it like emits. Like you get the passion from him, man. He is like so into it. He's seen so much success. Like of his patients, like 84% have benefit of 50% or less, and literally 40%, which is higher than standard, 40% have complete remission of all symptoms. Like totally. which is again unheard of.
So what has your experience been like? I mean, you're mostly in your head, right? You're stuck in a chair and you're just in your head and you're gone, and then you keep living the same like 2 minutes over and over again. Is that's what my experience was like.
Yeah, so this guy, he like puts on this nature video that you watch the entire time, which
weird.
I thought was super corny.
Right? Why doesn't he put on a fucking? Why can't he let you pick what you're gonna watch?
Yeah, you should get to pick.
I wanted music. I wanted to choose like Philip Glass or some like classical music that I really like or whatever. But
some Dead, man.
So I was like, yeah, but it was amazing. The video was such an experience, like emotionally in a positive, like insanely good, positive experience. So like my opinion has shifted for sure.
Dude, every fucking psychonaut I know has the Planet Earth Blu-ray on on demand all the time. They would load it up into a Blu-ray disc changer.
I mean, I like watching what I like though. When I'm tripping,
sure, but I like to watch. That makes sense. But for a lot of us, though, like simply looking at like trees or like animals, you're like, oh, shit's perfect, man. This is all a miracle, really.
The last time I tripped super heavy, I watched WrestleMania 5. I was so into it. I loved it.
Man, that doesn't convince you about the goodness of people. Well,
yeah, but it convinces you. Yeah, it does. I mean, people are good, inherently. But yeah, and like, so I guess. Before we go, I want to ask you a little bit about are you feeling better? Like what is your mood like since this has happened? Because I am watching you very closely.
Yeah.
This what this reminds me of? This is
CIA.
Well, yeah. But this really reminds me of Amber. From the early days of Twitter. Amber was the first person I ever saw transition.
Oh.
And like I watched that happen, and it changed all of my opinions on like trans issues. It's not that I was like a super hateful person, but I was also I don't get what the big deal is. You know what I mean? Like I was not like the best ally. And then after that, it changed me into thinking that way. And like kind of like right now, I'm really struggling with my mental health. I'm constantly anxious and constantly depressed. And I'm trying to figure out how to deal with it. And like, I'm watching you to see what your experience is with your depression and your anxiety. Cause I talked to you, and we're in a couple chats, and I know you're pretty anxious and you can be depressed. Like, so like, what is that? Like, is it helping? What does it feel like?
Yeah. So like, the whole thing is the magic number is 6 infusions to where you really get the full benefit. So like I'm at the preliminary end of this, and like I said, with some of the health issues I discovered, it was kind of stressful. But my mood was definitely lifted. I'm sleeping less, and like what I've learned that happens is like literally these synapses in the middle of your brain, these neurons called dendrites, are destroyed by stress and anxiety, and there's no way for them to grow back with anything, like literally no antidepressant or whatever. But when you do ketamine, it stimulates its growth and its connectivity, its synapses. I mean, it literally rewires your brain. So, like,
I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take my daughter to school. I'm gonna get in a K-hole and then go pick her up and be a better person afterwards.
I mean, here's our issue, Brett. The only place that does it in Columbus is Ohio State University, and there ain't no fucking way they're letting us do it.
Yeah.
And the other place is in Toledo, which is 3 hours away. So you'd have to drive 3 hours twice a week.
Driven that much for drugs.
Okay. Hey, if you want to go, I'll go with you. Me and you will.
No, I don't need it. I don't need it.
But I would like to try it. And are you going to call us back, Kate, and let us know how it's going as you go through this? Sweet, because we're going to be around. We're going to be around for number 6. We're going to be in Texas. We don't leave for Texas until number 6 is done. So we got to hear how you progress.
Yeah, we're going to do an ABCD show too. So thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for
if
calling.
I get like a doctor,
it's good to talk to you again.
If a doctor could like watch me do cocaine and just be like, "Wow, man, you're like doing so good. Like, I can't even tell that you're fucked up right now.
That's
like,
what
it's
I've
so
been saying.
neat that, like, this is amazing. Like, you're just killing it right now. Like, I'm so engaged in this conversation we're having.
I've been saying that about nitrous too.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It was like if they just opened up a place that looked exactly like a dentist office that you walk in, but it doesn't have any of the dentistry stuff. It just has the nitrous.
Just the nitrous.
What a fucking fantastic place that would be to hang out. Like,
Yeah, it's
go.
like, I mean, it's like those places where they give you the IVs, right? Like,
yes.
those next day IVs now that you can go sign up to get.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. There's a place in my town that does that.
Yeah, recreational doctor.
Yeah,
recreational doctor.
recreational
That's the
hospital.
slogan we need to introduce into the lexicon.
Yeah.
This is no. I have my regular doctor. They're covered with, all of that. I have my recreational doctor that helps me figure out how to fine tune this machine.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, like, I am seriously considering the ketamine treatment because
Sure.
of like where my brain is right now. Like, and also because the
You have such
antidepressant I'm on causes diarrhea.
Yeah, I mean, that'll do it.
Every day I got a diarrhea shit. A big, giant, wet diarrhea
Stop.
shit every single day. But
You
I
gotta get a
think-
different doctor, dude. You gotta stop believing in that fucking lady. She sucks. She's she is just a Puritan.
Yeah, a little
Like,
bit.
you would not believe her opinion about anything else.
You're probably right. I mean, I think like, I don't know, man. I'm giving it another month and a half.
I don't like her.
Nobody does. Like my wife hates
I know
it too.
I know several people that go to her, and I'm just like, she seems too buttoned up for our crowd. Like, she doesn't seem like she's with it,
Well, at first I thought that was great because it was like soon after I got out of rehab.
Sure.
And it was like I
the
need somebody
outside
that's
perspective
buttoned
of a
up and-
straight person, right?
Right, I need somebody that's not going to just give me pills anytime I ask for them because I'm going to ask for them all the fucking time. But now it's like no pills. It's like, I kind of told her like I kind of told her the last time like I am cutting down all my recreational drug use, and like I really want something that just makes me sleep, and that's it. And she gave me a refill of the antihistamine she gave me to sleep, and it's like, I mean Xanax.
Antihistamines.
I'm fucking saying Xanax to you. I want you
Yeah.
to give me Xanax.
That was back in the day.
Yeah, nobody gives it. I can't get it. I mean, I
know
could go
I know
get
somebody
it.
that had it for. Yeah, you have to find a different doctor.
Yeah, I have to go to. I did just for the listeners that have been following me on this. I did contact a place that could get me in within a week. That I called them and I said I need a psychiatrist. I need to see somebody, and they said, well, just to let you know, we don't like really do talk therapy here. We do medication management, but we would be able to get you in within a week. So I have had that in my back pocket of like, maybe I'll just have a psych doctor deal with my psych drugs and then figure out a place to go and do talk therapy and then let her deal with like, my blood pressure and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that makes perfect sense.
Because it's just like, it's just this like never ending thing where you're just
they're both hand in hand. I mean, the things in life get out of control, and you do need to use substances at some point if your symptoms get too far along. But you can't rely on that as like your solution. I feel that talk therapy is the stuff that fills out and solves the problems that lead towards the need for substances, But at the same time, I mean, you're a biological organism that's been around for a few decades now, and you've kind of rewired your brain to a certain degree. So, there are people that just need to have psych drugs, and that's what's going to be their solution.
And I kind of talked to her about like
nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't think so. I kind of talked to her about like
It's just that we have so many guys that listen to the show, and I really want them to go get help, and I know they're not going to because I didn't do it when I was their age.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it would take to fucking convince them to go try something else besides being an asshole in your apartment by yourself.
Man, I saw that guy last week that wrote an editorial about his medication, his antidepressants, saying he was addicted to them as drugs, and people got very mad at it. And like, I kind of was like, I feel that way sometimes too, but like, I also don't think that's a negative, and I don't think it's a bad thing that I take them. But sometimes I do feel like I can't come off these if I want to. Like, it would be very hard, but it also has improved my life. Like that, if I did try to live without them now, like I don't know what life is like without them at this point, and it seems scary to me because like my anxiety is already super high when I'm on them, and like I do hate. I just but I don't want to. I don't know why. I just have in my mind that there's going to be a day where I don't take them anymore. But that I don't think there needs to be.
It does. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about that as being the solution. I would say if you try to fix the issue of having to take and why you have to take them, eventually it could lead down that path. But I mean,
yeah. And I like I said, I'm trying to figure myself out. You know, I found that if I sleep 8 hours, or if I sleep just through the night, if I don't get up, you know, I'm good. I've been a lot better if I sleep 8 hours straight instead of 4 hours than 4 hours, like I had been. And also there was a period of time there where I was making myself wake up early. Yeah. Because I felt bad because I was sleeping until like 1 or 2 and people were like, Brian's lazy. He doesn't do anything. All he does is sleep till like 1 or 2. So I was making myself get up at like 10:30, 11, which was then giving me like 6 hours of sleep because I wasn't going to bed till like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I just have found now that like I can't be concerned with what other people think about my sleep schedule. My sleep schedule has to be mine, and it has to be consistent, and it has to be
all the pop psychology right now is all about how sleep is important.
I know. Well, it's weird, dude, because if I take a night and not get sleep, right? Like if I went home tonight and stayed up until 5 in the morning and then got up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I would have a panic attack all day. I would essentially have a 24-hour panic attack. Yeah. And that's what it has felt like. But now, like, I know if I go to bed and I wake up 8 hours later, then my anxiety is manageable, which is as good as it can get at this point, because it's not a thing that I can make go away. Yeah. It just doesn't go away.
Well, you just have to level up. I mean, you have to learn how to manage it better.
1 minute, about 5 minutes after I take a Xanax is the only time I feel, like, for real, the only time I feel relief inside, where I don't feel like I'm shaking or something. But I only take Xanax like maybe every 4 weeks or something like that. But I do usually get 1 or 2 nights where like it's like I really got to feel relief. It's incredible. Like and ketamine seems like something that, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like maybe it's something that might give me relief.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you eat an eighth of mushrooms all at once, not like over the whole night, like all at one time, you get that ego death. You get that kind of experience that flips everything inside out, and that does last for a while. I mean, it does. Those impactful psychedelic experiences will change your everyday life, for the better. So let's see who's on the line. We have somebody that's been here for a minute. They called in like an hour ago. But thank you for listening to Street Fight and our bullshit. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hi, this is Eliza. I'm calling you from Allendale, Michigan.
Hi, Eliza. How are you? What's going on in Michigan tonight?
I got back here, actually. I'm in a long-distance relationship, and I just got back from visiting my boyfriend.
Oh, was it good? Like, okay, right on.
Yeah, it was good.
Long-distance relationships?
How long? Like, drive or fly?
3 hours.
3-hour drive? Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That's doable.
We're not going to go Tom Likas on you. I think a long-distance relationship is beautiful, and it worked with my wife for when I was leaving town every week for like 2 or 3 months there when we first got together. We were only together for like less than a year, and like it was perfect. Like it was like we appreciated our time together and didn't get to see each other.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you can drive to the fucking person and like snatch them out of their bed and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I mean, that's good enough.
Yeah, I guess snatch them right out of their bed, get right in their face, scream at them. So what's going on tonight?
Yeah. I'm just hanging out. I'm drinking. You guys were talking about what you like to watch when you're tripping, and the first time I tripped, I was with my best friend, and I put on the Do For Love music video, like right as we started coming up, and it was like the perfect send-off.
What video? Now Brett's like, I gotta
Do For Love, the Tupac song.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah!
It's
See,
like multimedia. There's like animation and claymation in it. It's super fun.
I have not seen this.
It's weird. You get like when you do acid with people, especially like maybe squarer people, and even people that are psychonauts, like they have like this very specific thing that you have to do, and it's a specific like type of music, or it's a specific type of video.
Disco biscuits or fucking fish.
Well, not even just that. There's also like electronic industrial stuff, and There's like certain types of videos, or like if somebody's tripping, they'll be like, "What movie should I watch?" And everybody names the same 3 movies, you know. And it's like my advice is always like, no, watch like the thing you like the absolute most. That if you're gonna trip and watch a movie, trip and watch something. I'd watch John Wick, you know, or John Wick 3 or something, or The Raid Redemption, because I want to watch motherfuckers fight. And like that's what I want to see. But like I understand people who want to watch. God, I can't think of the movie. In the Mouth of Madness is what we used to watch growing up.
I watched Holy Mountain in Chicago.
Yeah,
when I was getting ready for the wrestling show.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah. So, yeah, I always say do what you like, and like I said,
man.
nobody would ever tell her to listen to Tupac when she was tripping. Right? Like they
the video is good though. The video is actually really good.
But they would say that it's too aggressive to listen to when you're tripping. When the last time I heavy tripped, I listened to Ty Segall, you know, which is loud guitar music, you know.
Yeah. If you guys, I'm really into film. A good movie that's super trippy to watch. It's Japanese. It's called Mind Game. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time, and I am convinced that the plot and structure of the movie is influenced by tripping, because it has like these ebbs and flows to it where it's like really chaotic and high energy, but then it'll be like really chill and slow. It's a super weird movie. It's very good. It's animated.
Well, I'm definitely into that. That's my jam.
Brett just added
I just put it on my library list here.
Actually, like as soon as you said it,
like watching Paprika when you're fucking tripping is crazy, dude.
What is that?
It's all about dreams. Like it's essentially about the dream world, and they have this like state that they can put people in, and from there it just you can run with it, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got a trip soon.
I don't want to tell you what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah, no, check it out.
I think I'm gonna trip soon. I don't know if I'm gonna watch a movie when I do it. I want to trip during the fall when it's
you have to make sure you can go outside.
You know, maybe go. Me and my wife are talking about going and staying out in the woods for a few days again this year. So maybe we'll do that.
Me and Brian, that when you put on that wrestling that one time when we tripped, it was sucked. We had to switch it off.
For fucking you, it did.
And then when we went out, like we opened the door and it just outside was like a blizzard. Everything was dead and it covered in snow, and it felt like we were stuck inside with this horrible wrestling.
Oh no, I agree. The wrestling on that time wasn't great. I thought you were talking about in the summer when we did it. I turned it on late at night and we were all having a good time. But yeah, I know. Hey, you know.
Then Brian disappeared for like 45 minutes and was like, I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, okay.
It happens, dude.
I've been told to never look at myself in the mirror.
No, that's my favorite.
I quite enjoyed it,
Yeah, I mean, that's weird. The best part. I mean, really, that's just like, this is me. This is the person that's having all these thoughts. This is what I look like. You just have to break that fucking barrier.
Oh, yeah. Looking at yourself during ego death is, like, really healthy, I think.
Yeah. And Paprika, man, like, the scientists enter the fucking dreams and shit. It's like, I got like Ghost in the Shell, something that like really fucks me up. I really like this mind game suggestion. I'm totally into it. It looks really good.
It's so good. It's super trippy. The animation. It's considered one of the best animated films of all time by some people.
Oh, wow.
Very good. It's multimedia too. They do some interesting stuff with it.
Yeah. I mean, now at this point, we went. Last time I tripped was like a few weeks ago. We went to a wrestling show. Like, I haven't stayed inside. Like, now I can go and do whatever I want. I have no inhibition really at all because I don't have to worry about swiping my card or anything anymore. So for me, it's a matter of like fitting along with polite society. For there's these very brief moments where I can find like a Bolt House Farms juice to drink really quickly or something, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mostly called in because I have this weird tendency where I will apply to jobs that are shitty just for being able to tell a story about it, if you know what I mean.
No,
sure.
That is
You're a stand-up comedian, maybe.
I've considered like doing hidden camera job interviews. I totally
right?
Yeah, I mean, if we could make it easy, it would be fun to go and kind of document all this stuff.
Totally. And I've, so because of that, I've worked a lot of shitty jobs.
Yeah, what like
What's some tops?
What's the top
bad
shittiest job? What's the shittiest job?
What job do you regret your behavior of applying for
Well,
shitty jobs?
I'll tell you what. So you don't have to just be the only one. We'll each say our number one shittiest job we've ever had in our entire life. Okay. I'm gonna start. McDonald's is the worst job I ever had in my life. Brett, what's the worst job you ever had in your life?
The worst for me was building bikes on contract because you got paid like $3 for a kid's bike, $5 for an adult bike, and then like $10 for an advanced bike. And I was driving all around Texas, and they might have a couple hundred bikes for you to build, but you were building them amongst a crew. And at the end of the day, I had driven like 45 minutes both ways to get to a Walmart, and I built enough bikes to make like $11 an hour. And then they were also constantly harassing me to go on the road. They were like, hey, in Garland, we got to come up, man. We're going to all rent a hotel, and you can come and build bikes all day long. Make as much as you want. Write your own paycheck. And I'm like, I want out of this so bad. Like, I do not want to be a part of this. Building bikes was the worst job for me.
So what was your worst job?
Being a maid, for sure.
Oh, that's a rough one. My sister-in-law, she still has tendencies, too, where sometimes when like my wife is complaining about the house, she'll just like volunteer to work, and then she's like, oh, wait, I don't want to do that.
Right.
That's how I am, too. Like, I am so much cleaner than I used to be.
What was
being a maid?
What was it?
Like 8.
I'm sorry. What was it about the maid stuff that made it particularly bad?
Oh, just the condition of people's houses. They were disgusting.
I agree. Hey,
That's wild. Because
like I would clean toilets that had like cigarette butts and like ashes all over them, and like
oh my God.
it was like I feel disrespect. I feel like a slave. Like
Yeah.
it was horrible.
Yeah, that is a different, there's a difference of perception when it comes to maid stuff, because me and my wife have talked about it. And like I told her, like, everybody should be responsible for their own waste and trash and all this stuff, and I was against it. But as I started working more and as we had less time, it was like, well, maybe we could have somebody come in here like once a month and pay them $100, and they could do all of like the fine detail work. But before we ever talked about hiring a maid, the first thing we agreed upon is how much house cleaning we were going to do before we allowed somebody into our house.
Right.
And
that is key.
And I knew, like, amongst my friends and family, I know that all of us are very concerned about calling someone into the house and having it be like a wreck. But then you have to realize that there are folks that are like, oh, I haven't cleaned this place in 3 years. I should just hire a maid to clean it instead.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and like we never got tips. We got tipped 2 times.
Oh my God.
That's awful.
I believe it though, because they probably feel like I mean, just getting in the head of the person, they're horrible, but they probably felt like, well, we're already paying it, so the maid gets the money. But it's like everybody fucking knows that the maid doesn't get all the fucking money, you know?
Yeah, it's weird because you hold a position as like this really low person on the totem pole, but then also somebody that's not worthy of like praise or extra money.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, it was like kind of an ideal situation as far as payment went, just because I was with my best friend, so I wasn't like alone, and I was like close with her, and also it was like under the table, so we got paid in cash like at the end of the day.
Oh,
so we just got like a wad of cash.
Oh, I
which
love
was, like,
that.
Super nice, which kind of made up for that.
Yeah, man,
But,
those
like,
tax returns look good too. They're like, I didn't make a fucking cent this year.
literally, like it was so nice. But yeah, I remember we were cleaning this one dude's house, and he was like, we were chatting with him because we did so much Adderall when we were maids. So much Adderall.
Makes sense.
So like, yeah, no, I mean, I could not get through the day cleaning like 4 houses a day without an obscene amount of Adderall.
It makes my housework easier for sure.
Right, but we were like chatting this dude up so hard, and he was like, is it rude to ask how much you get tips? And we were like, we don't. And he was like, what? That's so fucked up, and gave us each $50. It was super nice.
I had that same thing happen once at Chuck E. Cheese. I was like throwing parties. This woman was like, "What is like the tips usually for one of these birthday parties?" I was like, "We never get tips for these." She gave me $25.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. I mean,
That's
it
what I
wasn't
would do.
15%, 25% or anything, but it was like we don't get any usually,
Yeah.
and we got $25.
You're like, oh fuck, I got to make up for everybody else now.
yeah. I mean, it is like. It's the weirdest thing because like there are jobs that you should know, like running a birthday party for a child or cleaning your house. It seems like perfectly like it seems like the type of thing that you should give a tip for. You know, it seems to me in my mind. So can I ask you this? Because I also had a job where I had to go into other people's houses. Like what was like the worst thing you ever saw?
Oh, that's really hard because I saw a lot of fucked up shit.
Can I
Cigarette,
ask you this?
I have to say, cigarette in the butts in the toilet is like a real fave of mine that no one wouldn't even fucking flush them.
Oh, I used to do it too. I used to do that.
Like, super fucked up. Yeah, no, so it was that guy's house. We went to his house several times, and he also had rentals in the basement, so we had to clean out rental properties as well on top of his regular house. And he was like a bachelor, and he'd throw big parties, so there'd just be alcohol like everywhere, like empty bottles all over the place. And he never tipped. He was nice because he wouldn't like be a total vulture and stare over our shoulders the whole time like some people would. But this one time there was an upside down mug on his counter, and I'm trying to pick it up and I can't.
Yeah.
And I have to, like, leverage my body to pull this shit off of the counter, and, like, liquid spills out of it. And, like, the smell just, like, hits me in the fucking face. It was horrible. It was disgusting.
Oh, no.
That fucking guy.
God.
I saw a guy one time eating a Skyline 5-way, or is it 3-way? I don't know. I hate Skyline.
You can pick. You can get three. You can get a 3-way. You can get a 4-way. You can get a 5-way.
Guy just standing in his living room talking to me with a fucking Skyline 5-way in his hand, and the chili is like literally falling off the fork and out of the bowl onto the floor of the apartment, and he's just walking away. And then like when I leaned down to reboot his modem, I got up and my knee was wet.
And good chili knee.
It wasn't chili.
Their knee
The
was a
whole
5-way.
floor was wet.
Oh,
Like everything was wet. Their dishes went from their sink all the way out to their front door. Like they piled their dishes up and they just kept piling them until it got all the way out to the front door.
Throw them away.
I know.
Just go to the thrift store and buy new dishes and buy paper plates.
But the most disturbing thing...
That's so fucking frustrating. When I was in people's house, I would just want to lecture them instead.
The weirdest thing...
You noticed?
I'm sorry. What I'll say, the weirdest thing that people did, and this was a lot of people. This wasn't like a rare thing. A lot of people did this, and I was in their basements because a lot of your cable stuff's in your basement. Is they just let their dog just shit in the basement and just leave it there, and it'll just be complete basement floor with just all shit all over it.
Dude, there was a guy that I used to hang out with that would wait till they dried and just throw them out on the back porch.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you would just
hideous.
pick them up and toss them.
Just someone I can't imagine like just being like, go ahead and just shit down there. It'll just you wouldn't do that with your own shit.
No,
you know,
No, I hate that.
Such a weird thing. I also got in a crawl space one time. I'm like crawling through a crawl space and I look to the side of me and there's a dead cat just in the crawl space, like decomposing. And I'm like, you didn't notice the cat was fucking gone? You know what I mean?
Like, didn't you have that? You were feeding it, right?
How did that cat get in the fucking house, man?
They probably thought it ran away or something.
Oh my God. But it would smell. That's the fucking thing. Is like,
Right.
people keep their house wild, man. And it's funny because you would go into like people's houses that were really clean and they would be the ones apologizing. Like,
Those
sorry,
people
there's
are
dust.
fucking No, those are the craziest people because like if their trash is taken out, like their house is spotless and they hire a fucking maid, they're crazy.
Yeah, because that sucks because they put you in the position of like you have to find something to do. Like, I'm the best cleaner that there ever was. You better find something to fucking clean. You better double check my work and find something good, or otherwise you're not worth my time. Oh God!
What do you do?
That's a terrible challenge to walk into a spotless house as a fucking maid and have someone just stand there with their arms crossed and say, find something to clean.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do in those situations?
Those are the people that would call our boss and like complain about two like 18-year-olds that like, you know, don't know what the fuck they're doing, you know. And
They didn't
complain about.
They didn't clean a goddamn thing. It was all clean before they got here. They're just running off of my good cleaning. Wow, that sucks.
That is, I mean,
that makes total sense. I never really thought of that circumstance, but once you said it, it makes complete sense.
What's the strategy though in that situation? I got to know what the strategy is for you when you get there. The house is spotless, but they want you to clean.
You just have to keep an eye on everything. Like when you become a maid, you notice so many more things that are dirty that you never thought about.
You know,
the
shortfall.
The fronts of kitchen cabinets, right? You don't think about
smooth.
Until you become a maid.
Yeah.
And I'll be in other people's houses, and I'm like, oh my god, like their cabinets are so dirty.
Oh,
and
you
like,
should see mine.
I would. Right. One of the most fucked up things was we went to this house that we went to multiple times, and one time we went there because of this. It was so fucked up. We arrived there. We didn't know we were going to this house, and we got there, and we were like, fuck, we got to snort some Adderall, like, right now. Because it was, like, so fucked up. But she decided that she wanted her garage cleaned. And people will always, like, try and add extra shit on that is, like, not a part of general cleaning.
Yep.
Which is just disrespectful. And, she decided she wanted her garage cleaned, so we had to check it with our boss and be like, we're going to be here for another, like, 2 hours now to clean this bitch's garage. And it's literally, like, top to bottom full of children's toys. Like, full. And,
oh, no. But the kids weren't there?
Like, okay. No, the kids were there. The kids were there. And she's like, all right, you have to throw away all of this shit and organize all of this shit. So we're, like, throwing away these kids' toys, like, 10 trash bags.
Oh, my God.
Full garbage bins full of toys. As the kids are, like, watching us and crying.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. You should...
Yeah, that's good.
I would do that. I would like to see kids cry as I throw their toys away, but that's a premium service. That is not like a regular cleaning service. That is me doing the parenting that you refuse to fucking do.
Brett, you're going to end up hiring her.
Right?
Yeah, like you refuse to go to your kid and say, you have too fucking much. We're going to give it to somebody else right now. Like you're making a maid do that for you. What the That's very audacious. That's crazy.
Oh, it was horrible.
I want that job though. I want to throw kids' toys away.
Brett would do it. Brett would be great at like just throwing motherfuckers' toys away for sure. Like
I'm here for it.
Yeah, Brett. Brett would love it.
It is. I mean, it is really though. Like with those type of folks, it's hard to do this show coming from like the struggling perspective, like personally, but also kind of bridging the gap with like people that are of means or have money and things. Cause you realize how many ways they like fuck themselves over, like how they ruin their own like privilege into these ways where they could just be an active parent that says like, hey, these toys gotta go. We're going to donate them to someone that needs them more. Instead, they've like created this system where they're just hiring people to do their fucking dirty work instead, you know? Like they've missed out on the growth. Like I've sat down with my daughter several times and said, hey, have you noticed the house is really messy? That's because you have a whole bunch of toys. Well, we have to give those to people. And like she has understood the concept. But it was not fun to sit down and tell that to her.
No,
like I didn't want to tell a 6-year-old that people are not having a good time at life. You're having like an absolute fucking ball, you know, but like other people aren't.
Mine didn't like to throw stuff, but we were always trying to get her to throw shit away, and she just would save everything. It was such a pain in the ass. Well, thank you for calling in. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Because we're about to take a break.
Okay. No, it's good. I was going to say it's also good, too, just to make kids aware of what they have. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that, even though it is a difficult discussion to have. I work with kids a lot, and it's, you know, important to, like, you know, treat children like adults to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Talk to them like they're real fucking people.
Well, I mean, that's all I can do at this point, too, really. Right. I mean, like... I'm not going to make her live on less. I'm not going to make her suffer just because that was my life. I'm not going to make her eat fucking, rotten sandwiches or something. But at the same time, like, I can make sure that her Pollyanna existence is not as, like, bright and cheery as the people that don't ever get told that someone else is not doing as well, And she's doing fine. She's doing just fine. She's appreciative of what she has. And so, broaching that topic is necessary. Hiring somebody else to do it for you is like just bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for having me on.
That was fun.
I want to give a shout out to my boyfriend because he was the one that showed me your guys' podcast, and I love it.
Oh, fuck boyfriends.
I love your boyfriend. And thank you. Thank you so much for calling.
No problem. Of course. Have a good night, you guys.
All right, we're going to play some tunes.
Yes.
We're going to play Terrence Peterson.
Yes, this is a departure. So this bold person sent me their, like, classical music. Like, this is some chamber orchestra type string instrument shit.
Okay, right on, man.
Which I like. I mean, it's a good switch up, and I'm glad that they did. And I know a lot of folks here are into all kinds of music, myself included. I do like this.
I'm into like 3 kinds of music.
Sure.
Hey, yeah. I'm one of those guys that's like, I like 3 kinds of music.
Yeah.
I like rap, country, and metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, while we're getting this all together, I have a new podcast called the PODcast, PODKAST, where we're talking a different new metal album every week. I know a lot of you have already listened to it and liked it, but it's getting good reviews, so listen to it. Rate and review it on iTunes.
It's on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff?
It's everywhere.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So if you want to hear Brian talk about new metal, you can look it up.
You want to hear it, too.
This is Terrence Peterson with his Rainbow, well, not Rainbow.
T-E-R-E-N-C. God, people love that PODcast because there's like a story in it about how we met friends.
we're back. Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio. This is the call-in show. That number to dial is not one you should dial right now, but in the future, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. 614-655-3887 is the number to dial. We've got like 6 people in the queue right now. We're going to get to all of them. So just hang tight. If you're 314 out there, we'll get to you eventually.
I want to say this, too. I'm going to pull the trigger on this now because if we don't, it ain't going to happen. The return of the ABCD show will be Sunday, September 29th. We will be here, and we would like to talk to anybody but cis dudes that week. So if you're a cis dude and you call, we will probably politely tell you that we're just going to hang up. But, yeah, ABCD show, the 29th. So 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, let's put it on the calendar.
It's on it. It's there.
Anybody but cis dudes. Sunday, September 29th. Let's see who this next call is. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, is it me?
It's you.
Hey, you can call me Doc.
What's up, Doc?
Because I'm a resident in family medicine.
Okay. What's up, Doc? How's it going?
Oh man, I've been trying to get on. Full disclosure, I'm on call, so I might get calls like I'd have to get off real fast.
That's fine.
Okay. So what's going on tonight?
Well, call's been good. Just haven't been doing too much work. Like one delivery.
Oh, making babies, I hear. It sounds like.
yeah. Someone made babies.
Well, you make them too, you know. The baby isn't a baby until you pull it out, you know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, fair enough. I believe that. I tend to. That's why I'm more anonymous. That's a view that people don't always.
Yeah. Hey, you know. Yeah, that's true. That's a controversial view, I guess. So, what's up, man? What's going on?
I was just calling just because I had heard like resident wife, the guy's the surgeon.
Yep, Dr. Wife.
Husband, that grocer. Yeah, Dr. Wife. Yeah, and he was talking about like the hard work, and I wanted to talk. Maybe you guys already know about this, but there's this whole way that they discuss it, which is pretty funny and pretty messed up. They talk about burnout. Yeah, y'all heard about this among doctors who are training?
I mean, I know burnout for sure, the concept of like going too hard until you're out of all of your energy, but I don't know how it exactly relate. I mean, I can understand how it would relate, but I don't know how it's applied in the field.
So a little bit of context, like a bunch of residents committed suicide. Like it's a real big problem. Like it's very, very stressful. They have lots of hours. They just make them do too much work with like not enough time to do it, and they make a lot of mistakes. And at one point, it was one of the careers where, like, at least in that part of training, like a lot of people were killing themselves. There's all this research about it, and their solution to that was like, well, y'all are burning out.
Yeah,
like it's not like you have to change the work or anything like that.
No, it's a failing on your part.
Right. And so there's this whole thing where it's like, well, I get these lectures like at least once a month, I want to say, as part of my curriculum that are like, well, you got to get sleep and you got to do yoga, man. That way you can do this crushing amount of work.
Folks, we're not just here to get jobs as doctors. We're also trying to learn about mindfulness practices, so that we can manage a 90-hour-a-week work schedule.
I appreciate the value of that, but it's kind of like I know what I need to do to like make myself happy, right? Like I don't need to like the part that messes us up is like, well, you gave me 20 patients, and I get 15 minutes each one. And some of them are in crisis, and some of them are super sick. Like that's the issue. I mean, I know how to sleep. I know how to.
Yeah. But, for whatever person that went to school that is trying to figure out how to make this a fun thing for y'all, like, they don't want to address that kind of stuff because it would cost too much money.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the thing. You know, we're pretty cheap labor. You know, they bill our hours like similar to like a real doctor, but you know, they don't pay us very much.
Yeah. So how do you?
Yeah,
I mean,
I was just thinking.
So are you like you're
Well,
just
it'd
in,
be like-
you're just in a help? Like, are you an actual doctor, or are you just a part of the
Yeah.
staff that gets it done?
So no. I'm one of the. So I'm in training. Like,
Okay.
I graduated school. I actually got my license this year, but I still have like one more year of training to be like what they say boarded, like, like in the specialty that I chose to do.
And
So yeah, so I'm a real live doctor.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, sometimes they get away with just hiring like anybody they can get for $10 an hour, but at this point they're like, well,
Yeah, that's even more messed up.
you've spent all your time working towards this. Like, you should just accept that this is what you've wanted the whole time, which is, you know, working every moment you're awake.
Right. Yeah. Well, and basically, I think the paradigm is like, well, it's definitely your fault that docs are killing themselves and stuff. It's definitely like y'all just don't have like that mental toughness.
Right.
And
but you know,
would
this
be
wasn't
like,
this
you know,
was a
like,
problem
let's say you're in
before.
Yeah, like, well, let's say like you're in like a really dangerous work setting, right? You're like I don't know, like you work on an oil derrick, or like you're a coal miner or something, I don't know, and people keep getting crushed by a rock, and your boss was like, "Man, you got to get those plyometrics going, man. You got to avoid them rocks."
Yeah, way back. I mean, if you just do a little bit of a half hour of cardiovascular activity, like that'll just regulate your brain to not think that this is a bad situation.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. I
So
just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, so what? I mean, is the staff is with you on that? But I'm guessing, but you know,
the staff. Yeah, if you're not like some people get out of training and they kind of become jerks, and I don't know what that's about. But if you're cool, that staff kind of love residents. It's like if you're cool, because you're always there.
Yeah,
like if you know.
Is it like is this like a shortage? Or is it just because there's like not as many people that are qualified to do that job, or are they not hiring enough people to do that job?
Well, I mean, there's a doctor shortage kind of nationally, right? Like they make it really hard to get in, and then if you can't get into that kind of debt, you're not going to do it. And then you have to go to work. You need to train. And even those spots are pretty tight too.
Okay,
so they just, I mean, they it's a guild, you know what I mean? Like they that's how they get paid as much as they do in the States. Like there's just not a lot of them.
So it's kind of like they make it very hard to do, and most people don't want to go through the debt. So there's of course going to be shortages because. You know, there are also a lot of people who just can't afford to do it. Like, even without the debt, it's just you can't go to school to do it because you can't like live off of through
like,
that long of college.
Pay for you to eat that food. Like, the loans will just pay for school. Like if you got to eat, like
yeah, they want you working. You know, they're going to make you work while you're there too, unless somebody can help take care of you while you're there. So it seems that whole field seems rough. It seems like a plan for universal health care would also include like making it easier for people to go to school to become doctors.
Yeah, I would rather see.
Universal health care would be bad for my work.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I mean, because I spend a lot of time saying, "Hey, this is what you need," but you can't afford that.
Right.
I don't have a way of getting it to you.
Yeah. So you're saying it would be good for your job? I mean, I'm sure you support it for sure.
I do, yeah. No, but it would be. I mean, objectively, if you're really good for my job, I think it's much easier.
Oh yeah, because I have heard a lot of people who do stuff in the medical field talk about how it's like there are things like there are times where you're like, I know what I could. My doctor, for instance, has said like, well, in the early days of me being on antidepressants, she put me on pill that was supposed to help me sleep, and that pill was $60 a month, and I just didn't have the $60 a month to get the pill at that time. And she was just like, okay, well, I guess we got to put you on something else. There's not really a solution if you can't afford the medication. So a lot of times doctors are having to be like, well, you can't afford it, so you're not going to get this. That unfortunately, you don't get the best thing, unfair.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people, they'll come in super sick too, If you have universal health care, I saw a guy 2 months ago maybe, and he had some, not to get into weeds too much, but he had a really aggressive type of cancer, but it was only in his gallbladder. And, people get their gallbladders taken out all the time.
Yeah.
That's a thing that just happens for any number of reasons. So if he had come, I talked to him, and he was like, yeah, I was just losing my appetite for a couple months, and my stomach really, really, really hurt. But, and he's, undocumented. So he's like, but I didn't come in because, I'm not, I just figured I had something else. And he just ignored it for a really long time, and now he's quite sick, he's chemotherapy and everything.
Man, that is just too much. Well, what would you say? So do you just think
Yes, I mean you're in the position, and you're a Street Fight listener. What's your perspective on all of this? What would make it easier and accessible for everybody and make it work for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts, right? If it's free at the point of care, people come in for the thing,
Well, I mean, are you working in an emergency room situation, or
he delivers babies?
Yeah.
Delivers babies.
Part of residency. So I'm training to be a family doctor. So outpatient docs, I'm inpatient, delivering some babies and kids, kind of a little bit of everything.
Sure.
Not particularly good at anything. But yeah, I'll be I was in the emergency department a couple days ago. And you see kind of similar stuff.
It's crazy, I mean, I have to say that, part of our growing up, I don't know how old you are, but, everybody did really believe that, doctor and medical was, the way out of any problems in your life. It was just, the path to success. And I think that, we've promised too many people that they can become a doctor and get, a fucking Audi,
Right, yeah.
And it makes it so that...
I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. I think I have $273,000 in debt.
Oh my God!
Fuck!
Oh my God!
Yeah, because I only did
envy
4.
You, my friend. I do not envy you.
I only did 4 years.
They're not going to kill you for it, and if they do, the street fighters will go crazy over.
I mean, shouldn't he be?
Bad debt. Well, they can't take the degree. So
Right.
Shouldn't they? I mean, that's the thing, though. Once you become the doctor and you're doing all the doctor shit, you would think that they would be like, you know what? Never mind the debt, because
no, dude,
this is a net good.
They gave you a bump up.
I agree. I see what you're saying.
They want to get paid out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I just think it's one of those things where it's even if they just treated it like a test to get you in, where it's look, you can be a doctor, but you're going to owe $255,000 when you get out. But if you become a doctor, we'll erase all that debt and you won't have to have the debt anymore. That seems like the test, to make sure everybody gets through and gets in and gets a job. But
you would feel so bad going after somebody that had to quit 3/4 of the way through, though, Brian.
Right, and I'm not for that. I'm not.
No, I know.
It's just a thing where it's
the deal that we have is just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Even with using their logic, it's well, give them all $1 million for working at the hospital. And it's oh, we can't do that. We have to make money. And it's I don't know what we're doing then.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And are you do you, before we go, I want to ask you this, because I know a lot of people, I don't know any doctors, right? But I do know people that have gone to law school, and almost to the person, every one of them has said, never go to law school. I wish I wouldn't have gone to law school. How do you feel about your medical training? Where do you feel, are you happy you did it?
I'd say so. I think that I didn't want to sit at a desk.
Yeah,
true.
I still don't really do that.
Yeah,
that was the first good.
My sister is a nurse, and she's done the traveling nurse thing where she just finds like the biggest bounty and goes there. And I don't know. I don't think she's necessarily motivated by money so much as that, in that she is okay with looking at like gross stuff. Like she's not queasy about like body fluids and stuff. Like she's built for the position, and it is very lucrative, you know, to do so. But at the end of the day, she really is just like way better at it than like, you know, most people would be.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they really undersell the amount of like dicks and butts I see during the course of
I guess
my day.
It's it.
I guess I have just one more like tack on question for that. Would you recommend other people do it? Like if somebody came to you, I mean, obviously it's different for each person, but if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm thinking about going to medical school, I'd like to be a doctor. Like what kind of things would you say to them to make sure, or to tell them to make sure of, or any of that stuff?
I kind of think there's like two things. Like you can't be passionate about something else because you're not going to be able to do that thing for like 20 years. So, like, if you are really into something else, you got to do that thing.
Yeah.
This is your number one.
Yeah. You know, you're not going to, like, ooh, this is going to be, like, cut me a big check, and then I'll go do that thing. Like, nah, you're going to be a different person, you know, at the end of
that makes
all
sense. I mean, I can. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and then, like, you just have to, it's not even, you have to be smart. You definitely don't have, like, that, I don't really believe in that. You don't have to be smart, but you do have to, like, I don't know, have the right upbringing where you can look at a multiple choice question and be like, that's probably the right answer. Otherwise, you're not gonna like be successful, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling in. I mean, I don't think I would have ever thought a single doctor listened to our podcast. So it's good to hear that.
One does, I guess.
Yeah, wait till he gets the Audi. Wait till he gets the Audi, though.
Yeah.
Once he gets that Audi coupe, he's not going to call into our show anymore.
This shit, you know, these fucking guys are just jealous of my wealth.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you guys.
Well, thanks for calling in. I do appreciate it. I appreciate what you do. You know, knowing people that go into medical and everything, like it is one of those careers where, like, as a working class family, all I had to say to my parents was, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. And they were like, oh, that's amazing. That's great. I've got a good kid, you know? So to come out on the other end and do it and see like that it's a bad deal, but at the same time, I'll also understand like, well, I could be either helping people in their time of crisis, or I could be like making money doing spreadsheets. I'd rather just stitch some people up. I'd rather just write some prescriptions. I'd rather just look some dicks and butts instead, you know? Like, that's a better deal for some people than having to do, like, the 9-to-5 office work, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Brian,
I know
Brian has a really interesting article on his computer he's looking at.
I'm not. But something that I think about all the time is, like, if you find something you like to do, right? And it's going to be 24 hours of your life, and that's everything you got to do, then it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find with my, like, raising a kid and everything is just, like, what is it that you like and you're willing to put up with all the negative aspects?
Yes.
Like, that's what we're doing right now is, like, this is what we like to do, but we're also willing to put up with every negative aspect that comes from this.
Yeah. And I sort of spend I think about it all the time, and I'm just like, you know, anything that's negative about what we do, I kind of am like, it's better than what was negative about the cable company.
Sure.
You know, and that's why I think that's kind of that's the thing you should weigh out before you do anything. You know?
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have to do something, so you should make it something that you don't mind doing, or that you're willing to put up with the bullshit.
I don't even know if it's like, unfortunately, we all have to do something.
It is.
If we lived in a world where, like, you got to
but we don't.
you got any kind of chance to pick what you do,
we don't.
I don't think it would be that bad of a thing if we all had to do
Why are you
something.
going to give an advice for a fairy tale world, though?
Yeah, you're right. Hey. I'm just saying. I don't think it's bad that we all have to do something. I guess. Like,
okay. I can get with you on that.
Yeah. I think it's
and
fine.
we do have to. I mean, there's like, we can't all just take the day off because nothing will happen and then we'll all complain that nothing happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the engagement that we're all in. Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Jamie in Indiana.
ABCD. Howdy. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great.
So far, so good. I mean, yeah, we're about ready to clock out, so I think I'm doing right.
Oh.
Day off work.
Just wanted to call to complain about work, but I wanted to add something about fentanyl from earlier, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I had to get electrolysis like 2 years ago, and they gave me a bag of fentanyl, and it was like the best 5 minutes of my life.
I've been there. I'll say this, there's a reason that shit's addicted. There's a reason people throw their lives away for that stuff. It feels very good.
Dude, I had an endoscopy. Like they just did like the scope down my throat, and when I woke up, I was just like cracking jokes and like doing like finger guns at people. Like I felt so comfortable and calm, and like everybody in the room was just like lighting up because of me. I felt like everything was right.
I remember the first time I did Dilaudid at the doctor. I had a kidney stone. I'm 19 years old. I'm laying in the bed. Nurse comes in, like, we're going to get you something for the pain. And she shoots like a hat. She starts to shoot it in, and you immediately feel it. Like it just takes over your body. You feel really warm. My dad was in the room with me because he was visiting at that point. He had come to visit me because I was going to be admitted to the hospital. And I was like, I'll never forget that Howard Stern was on the TV, and I was watching it, and I go, oh, whoa. And she was like, what? And I was like, that feels great. And she was like, that's only half of it. Do you want me to stop? And I was like, let it ride.
Yeah.
The rest up. Give me the rest. And then for the rest of the time I was in the doctor's, every 4 hours, it's like, I'm in extreme pain right now. And like, I remember putting on the gown and my jeans and rolling the IV thing out to smoke cigarettes and just hang out outside, like all fucking crushed on opiates, smoking cigarettes, and then like coming back in and getting lost, like not knowing where my room was supposed to be.
What am I supposed to do here again? I just sit in this bed?
My whole ass was sticking out though. That's the thing, because I put the jeans on, but I didn't pull them all the way up, and I had the gown and it was open in the back, and it was just. I mean, there's a reason people like it, but
how was your experience?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it was fine. I was getting genital electrolysis. So other than the fentanyl, it was like excruciating and terrible, but that kind of made up for it because I had to get electrolysis before surgery and chop my wiener off, and because they didn't want hair growing where in my vagina.
Yeah.
And they had to do lidocaine injections, and they gave me fentanyl for the lidocaine injections because it was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my life, and I was like weeping from pain, and the needle was huge. But the fentanyl didn't really help that, but it was good for a few minutes.
Yeah, it just is one of the I always think it takes your mind off of it more than it kills the pain, because the whole time I remember every time I've ever done that's been given it by a doctor, it's like I'm still acutely aware that I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It's just that it's like, there's this whole other good thing going on too, But
plus by the time they got around to the lidocaine, it had already worn off like 30 minutes before that.
Oh yeah, that.
But
yeah.
So what's going on with work?
Oh, I deliver pizzas mostly, and I got a second job as a pharmacy technician, and I kind of hate it.
What? Okay. Let me ask you this before you go on. Do you like the pizza job or the pharmacy technician job more?
Well, I thought I didn't like the pizza job until I got another job.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
love
know,
delivering pizzas.
that's a hard pill to swallow, though. It's when we live in a land of contrast, and you realize that you don't got it so bad at the pizza shop sometimes.
I'll tell you what. When I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, I quit. I was gonna quit, right? I was like, I fucking hate this job, you know, working in the game room, because I was working in the game room. I had to fix the games and stuff, right? And I was like, I fucking hate this job. This job sucks. So I got a job at a different restaurant, but as a dishwasher, because I thought I'll be back in the kitchen. It's gonna be great. So I didn't quit Chuck E. Cheese. I just took the weekend off, and then I went to this other job, and I was like, well, if it doesn't work, you know, I could just come back to Chuck E. Cheese if it doesn't work or if something bad happens. And I went in there, and I fucking had to wash dishes. I was getting paid $3 more an hour, and I was like, fuck this, and went back to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Because I thought like pharmacy tech would be like more of a career thing, because I don't want to deliver pizzas my whole life, but it sucks, and and like we get people bringing in fake prescriptions for opioids. Like that's happened a couple times, and I only work there like 10 hours a week.
Really?
And every time it happens, it's like everyone treats it as like a fun little heist. Like, these people are going to come back. They have a fake prescription. I need you to stall them so we can call the police.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I get you. We used to have people, when I worked at this toy store at an early age, they would try to catch shoplifters. And most of the shoplifters just left the store with their goods, but they always dreamed of this day where they could, like, stall somebody to the point where the cops showed up.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to send someone to prison.
Can you
because
give
they want to
Can
get
you
high.
Can you give some Street Fight listeners some advice on how to write a script that doesn't get flagged by the pharmacist?
I don't know enough. I'm still just like a level 1, and I'm probably going to quit before I get to level 2.
So is it...
I don't know.
Can I ask, is it because it's more buttoned up maybe than the pizza job? Like, just as a guess, like, I'm just guessing, but it's like you went from because I've worked in several pizza places, because for your money, the pizza place is the best job in the world. If they paid more, it would be great. But of all the restaurant jobs, pizza shop was always my favorite one. But like, it is a hassle, and you don't really get paid very much. I never drove. But like, the people you work with are characters, and it's a fun place usually to work at. Is maybe the problem the employees as the pharmacy tech, the people that are like doing this for a career? Like, is that something that's disconcerting? Because like, I could see feeling that way, you know, like oh man, you know, this is. Yeah, because they act different. It's just when people don't care about their job, they act one way. And when people see that job as their meal ticket for the rest of their life, they act another way. And that way is usually, you know, they're more stressed out, they're meaner, and
yeah. Like, they're not fun.
Yeah.
One of them played, he's a grown man, and he plays VeggieTales songs from his phone, and he like told us a really funny part from Boss Baby and was laughing at it.
What?
Is he he has kids, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of understandable, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, pizza place.
I mean, there's just, that sucks. There are people that just subscribe to the kid lifestyle, and then on their, like, whenever there's, like, not a kid around, they will just watch animated shit, and it's just like, what is going on? Like, you have to, why don't you listen to something that's a little more dangerous, or watch something that, like, fucking has some sexual content in it? Whenever the kids leave the room, I'm like, put on the fucking pussy and dick music right now.
Yeah.
Like, immediately, I want to hear stuff about, like, that these kids can't fucking hear. Like, there needs to be a strict delineation between the two energies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, that it's such a weird problem, because I know exactly, I sort of think I know how you feel, in that you thought this was going to be it. You know, you get a job and you're like, this is it. And then now you're realizing it's not it. And it probably, I mean, I know whenever it happened to me, and it happened to me a lot, the instability of that is very weird because you don't really know what it is. You realize you don't know what the job is that you want now. Am I right in assuming that?
Yeah, I thought it would just be like counting pills and putting them in bottles, which sounds kind of fun, and
Yeah.
it kind of is, but there's so much more to it. And I make way more money at the pizza place than I do here.
Clown, fuck you and your drugs, your manufactured drugs, man. Fucking pizza makes more these days. I'm not into it.
It makes sense. A lot of drivers say that they make really good money
It's hard to step away.
as a pizza guy.
15 an hour,
Yeah.
which isn't too bad.
I mean, I'll say this. My wife, for 2 years when we were younger, worked at a golf course as a server. And they gave her, it was automatic gratuity on every check. You got an automatic 15% gratuity. You didn't have to depend on their tips. So you got your pay and you got your gratuity. And like within the last 3 years, she finally made more than she made at that place at her current job. And so it was like she quit just for insurance, but she could have been making what she makes now. Just serving people. And I'm sure she would be much happier doing that, because it's more of the type of thing she'd be into. So I'm with you. I feel you. Solidarity in that thing, because that happened to me a lot of times where, every single job I got, I thought it was the job. I got the job at the call center doing tech support. And when I got that job, I was like, this is it. This is the job. I'm just going to keep this job forever. I'm doing tech support. And then, it didn't work out. And then the cable job was the same thing. I was like, this is it. This is going to be my job. This is the job for the rest of my life. And I didn't end up able to do that. And it always did. It was always like you sort of take it out on yourself in a way where you're like, this is my fault. I just don't fit in anywhere. But it isn't. And I think that we all have to. It's very hard to find what you want when you're working at the jobs you're working at, which are lower end of the totem pole at places, like lower pay. It's they're all kind of bad and hard to do, and it like can be very disconcerting. And I hope you find your thing. I hope you're successful in your thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great night. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for letting me on.
Yeah, peace.
Hey, this is my pleasure.
Yep, have a good night.
That's you never had that?
What?
Like you never had that feeling of like getting there and being at the place that you thought was your thing?
I knew it was always going to be bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
there was just
I
a
just
side
thought
of me that was like, if I'm not like achieving on the highest level, like all of this is going to be bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was always like, I was always willing to settle for a job that was.
I wanted the warehouse to be like, my dad told me that he drove fucking forklifts for $15 an hour. And when I did the money, I was like, okay, that is enough for me. And then when I went there to go try and do it, like there was just no option to make your life better beyond that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you get disillusioned real quick. I definitely did think that there was going to be something available where I could just do a menial task, count pills, whatever it may be. And they just ripped the rug out from under you. It's like, this is going to be painful the whole time. It can't be easy or enjoyable to do something that we all require people to do,
What a bummer to be like, I got this job. It's pharmacy tech. I'm counting pills. And then she got in there and it was just not.
It's like, I'd rather be fucking making pizzas right now.
I'd rather be delivering pizzas, which is, I have known a lot of people.
Pizzas work the same as pills in a lot of situations.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people who love delivering pizzas too. Like a lot of the pizza delivery people at a lot of the jobs I worked at loved doing it. They thought it was great and fun. I'd never. But
you are subscribing to a lifestyle though that isn't one of like home ownership and shit though.
That's true. Yeah,
you're getting by. I mean, you do have enough to get by. It's like it does pay more, but. It's just like it's a challenge to say like I just want to sign up for this thing and not Think about it. You know, we're all required to like be bettering ourselves and to be trying to make 6 figures a year. Everybody is competing and fighting to like crabs in a bucket to get above one another. And simply taking an hourly wage is viewed as lesser than that. Like it's viewed as like a punishable offense.
Yeah.
Like in this world, if you just signed up to get your hourly wage, you're like a fucking chump, right?
I know,
it's
and
like
all,
you're not even hustling. You're not even using your time from like we're watching Game of Thrones instead of running a side business instead, you know?
Right, and people who grew up working class, it's funny because the working class deserves the world. They deserve everything. But generally, and this is among a lot of the people I grew up with, it was my feeling especially, was like, I just want a job that's good and pays me money to do something. I'm not being picky.
I don't want to climb.
I'm not saying I don't want to do, I'm not saying I won't do plumbing. I'll do plumbing. Like I will do everything. You know?
But I have to go to CheckSmart every 2 weeks, and if I'm constantly fighting with my fucking debtors, like the people that I owe money to, like why would I want to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm with you. I've thought about it. I have thought about it too, in that like that aspect of saying like I'm willing to sign up for whatever people will offer. I'm willing to do the job that no one else wants to do. But
I always would. I was thinking, even with the cable job, when I got that job, dude, I really did feel like I look up to these guys, the people that do the cable job. I think that it looks kind of difficult. And it looks like something that you have a skill that you're learning. And I got in there, and within like 2 years, I realized like I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing anything. Like I
you're
don't have a
just
marketable skill.
You're making yourself useful to other people to make more money.
Yeah. I don't have a marketable skill. There's only 1 or 2 cable companies. If I want to have leverage and just go away, like what are my shots? You know, what am I going to do?
Absolutely.
And sometimes they won't hire people from the other company. The insight was like, no, we don't hire people from the other company. And it's like, geez.
Let's see who's on the line. We got 2 to go. I think we're going to make it within the wire.
We're definitely going to make it. We still got time.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ed. I'm in California.
What's up,
Howdy,
Ed?
Ed?
We're going to be seeing you in November, I hope.
I do hope so. It's a bit of a drive, but if you guys are in, I mean, you'll be in LA or like San Francisco area.
Or San Diego.
Yeah, we're going to make our first San Diego appearance this
Yeah, 3 shows
Diego.
3 shows in California this time.
All right. That is awesome. I just wanted to call to thank you guys for this show you guys did, like I think it was like earlier this summer, but I think it was like Brian, you were talking about how you were looking at like the person who you used to be, and it was like kind of difficult to like reconcile that with like where you are now, and you're like, oh man, I used to be like
a teenage homophobe,
a bad person or whatever. Yeah, and I kind of was. I mean, like you could have been talking to me at that point, because like that's kind of who I was, and then like through some friends and through some other things, I kind of changed my view, and now I'm like, I guess I have better views, but I mean, it was just great to hear that. So
it's interesting.
For that show.
It is interesting. I appreciate you saying that. It is something I struggle with quite a bit. Like, but I think, I guess for me, it's like I've found people to be mostly forgiving of that kind of thing because I did change, and I think there's a lot of times like it's hard to change, and it's especially hard to change from that kind of thing because there's so much tied into it, especially when you're a dude. The toxic masculinity thing really does make you want to be like, no, I'm never been wrong.
You can be rewarded for it.
Yeah. And you know, it's hard to be around people and feel like imposter syndrome is not just like a work thing, right? And it is hard for me sometimes when I'm standing out there after a show. I just feel like, God, you know, if I met you at a different time in my life, no telling what I would have said. or not done. I wasn't a violent guy, but there's no telling what I would have said or how I would have treated this person. And, I mean, I'm trying to get over that because there's nothing good about it, but I do constantly, it's a very weird thing. Like I just, since Street Fight started, I've kind of been like, I want to make amends for a lot of that stuff, but it's not a debit sheet. There is no making amends for the thing you did when you were
right
18.
now.
You fucked somebody's life. I mean, you hurt people, and you just have to figure out how to not do that anymore. Because
well, you should also accept that, like, most people do end up being assholes forever because it makes sense. Like, you can slot yourself right in and just be that kind of asshole. And so making the difference does matter, you know. It's not going to change the past, but today is much more important than the past.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, you know, this isn't something that's going to happen to everybody, and it is a really weird thing to even bring up on the show publicly. But there was this guy in high school that I was like really mean to, who I was so mean to this guy, Brett. Like it was just, and
Feed Jake guy,
yeah. I was very mean to this guy, and at the time he was the only kid in my school that was gay. Like nobody else was, or everybody was.
No one else was comfortable enough to say it.
Nobody else was out. It was like this redneck school, and like I was fucking terrible to this person. You know, pushing them in the hallway as I walked down, or just yelling.
You just told us you weren't violent, though.
Push. Or like just slurs and shit like that, or like really just going in on this kid, right? With my friends. It wasn't something I did when I was alone. It wasn't like if I was walking down the hall by myself, I was going to start making fun of this guy. But it was like, if I'm with my friends, I'm showing off. And he messaged me 2 years ago, and he said, hey, I see what you're doing out there, and I really appreciate it, and I think it's important, and I'm glad that you're doing that. And that was the first time that I felt that I had, and not everybody's going to get this again. Not everybody's going to be able to get like the payoff of like somebody noticing and saying like you're different, and I can tell, and I'm glad that happened, and I forgive you or whatever. But like now I message with him all the time about wrestling. He like gets a hold of me all the time. We talk about wrestling because he's a wrestling fan, and like I don't know, like that was the time when I realized like maybe I have changed. Maybe I'm like maybe the real me is the person that changed, and that wasn't the real me, or that was the real me at that time. But I'm not that person anymore. I can't be I can't be stuck trying to fix the things that person did. You know?
But I'm not homophobic. That's the real me, right? That's what I think. That's the Weeknd song. I think he said that in that song.
What's weird because I think you do convince yourself that was the real you.
Well, the thing about it is that, I mean, for a lot of bad recursive thoughts, for a lot of bad mental programming, people have that as evidence. People do, like in their life, can use their past, their transgressions as some sort of evidence that they're bad. And you do have to realize that, like, so many other people just continue to be awful, and if you did not do that, like, you have done enough. Like, that's all that mattered ever, is that you didn't keep doing that. You know, when we read stories about young people, teenagers, you know, 20-year-olds or whatever, having lived my life as long as I have now, I do realize that folks are going to change over these times, and I don't necessarily think that defines them for the rest of their existence, you know. But at the same time, you can, like, I mean, I do remember saying some, like, shit that was absolutely, like, heinous and homophobic to somebody. That still, like, keeps me up at night, like, before I go to bed. But then I also have to say that, like, you know, the people that were around me at the time, they have continued to do so, and I have decided not to. So I think that is, like, worth a thumbs up.
Yeah.
That's all. Just a thumbs up.
Well,
just one thumbs up is all you fucking
deserve
get.
anything,
just
by
one,
the way.
just one little thumbs up is all you get.
You don't deserve anything.
Right.
Like I don't think I deserved even that I mean, if I was that dude, I would be like, fuck this guy. He's fake. This is bullshit. People should know who he is because I'm immature and bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that now, but at a time in my life, and like, I don't know. I know I'm not that person anymore, and it took a while for me to reckon with the fact that like that person that that person that grew up in Groveport that lived in Groveport till he was like 25 is not Brian. Like, I am me now. This is who I am now.
Yeah.
Back then, that's who I was. But I'm not him. And I can't... There's nothing I can do about him. That's over, But it was horrible. The things I did were horrible. And I know how you feel.
Yeah. Hey, well, thanks for taking my call, guys. Love the show, and I'll see you when you get here in November.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll
be
see
there.
ya.
All right, later, guys. Night.
Yeah, that's a big
Brett.
challenge, man. I mean, there's an amount of beating yourself up that I think is worth it. Like, I still believe in beating myself up. It's how I got where I'm at. But you can't get over the top, There's a matter of, like, still thinking about that stuff, 20 years later and having it, like, affect your day, which isn't worth it, Even though it was bad and it didn't mess up somebody else's life, to know that, things aren't the same right now, I think is enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough. I mean, you have to forgive yourself. Like, we have a lot of cis-het white dude listeners that were pushed into a status quo way of thinking that does celebrate and support their most selfish and horrible attitudes. So, I do want to say that not going into that is enough at this point. Like, I mean, like, just rebelling against the system that says it's okay to be homophobic is enough at this point. Like, we are making progress, and your past is something that you learn from, but it's nothing to say who you're going to be,
Yeah.
All right, let's see who we got on the phone. Our last caller. It better be a good one. They're a new one.
It don't have to be a good one.
It better be a good one.
You don't feel no pressure from him.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, it's, you know what? I'm going to say I'm funny because I want to name names and I don't want to name my own.
Perfect.
Nice.
Hey, Lonnie, how's it going?
Go for it, Lonnie. Can I first, before we go into this, I like how certain callers pick Terry and certain callers pick Lonnie because Lonnie and Terry are different things. So when you pick Lonnie, it says something about you. And when you pick Terry, it says something about you.
Well, I don't know what the different things are. I think just, I don't know.
Oh,
but
you
anyway,
know. You know. No, I'm kidding.
No, I seriously don't. The only Lonnie I know is my friend's boyfriend, but I don't know any Terrys, and I don't actually know what the joke is between the two. But
Terry is a generic name. Like, Terry, for me, is just generic. If somebody were to ask me to make up a name, people ask this all the time, so we should just get this out there. If somebody asked me to make up a name, I say Terry every single time. Like, that's the name that pops in my mind. Just a generic name, and that's all it is. But Lonnie is a dude that, like, everybody knows. He's like, drinks Mountain Dew a lot. He doesn't wear a shirt all the time. He wears like tight white denim. He has a tobacco stained blonde mustache. It's like Lonnie, it's a very specific Midwestern type of person.
Okay, well, I'm not from the Midwest, but that definitely sounds like me. So,
okay, right on. Well, what's going on? What are we naming names? Who are we going after tonight?
The worst boss I've ever had.
Wonderful.
His name is Jack Bush. He's from New Jersey, and he is a boss for lifeguards. And I want to say the first thing is like a good thing about him being a bad boss was that because we clocked in and out on our cell phones, and he was just really bad at his job, we were able to steal just so many hours.
Nice.
But so anyway, he made us call him Coach. He made us call him Coach Bush because he was the film coach. So, like, he wasn't even the real football coach.
Weird.
But he thought of himself as a football coach. And, like, he recruited some of his lifeguards from, like, the school he worked at. But he made us call him Coach. And, like, he wouldn't, like, let me call him by his first name. He was like, what's this Jack shit? And so most of the time when I was a lifeguard, though, I would just be alone at the pool just watching it. But then he would just show up sometimes, just like for a few hours a week, and just hang out with you. And it was just the worst when he was there.
Yeah, I know it's no fun at all.
And just I'm used to like sitting there and like listening to my podcast and like pretending to watch the pool because no one's ever going to drown.
Sure.
But he would just show up and like you would have to like be at super attention, and he would just like tell you the most inane shit. But like I can't even get into that. But
well, Alexander from the Minion Death Cult podcast shared a video this week of his boss showing them how to walk. Like he had nothing else to do besides like, y'all should walk like this to your thing. So he showed them like the proper gate of their
That is exactly what this guy would do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
he would like tell you how to do the most basic stuff.
Oh, gee. I mean, you're right. I mean, they just have to justify their position at that point. And it's very uncomfortable because you're like, I've been doing this job. I'm literally the best at this job. There's been no problem so far. But now that you're here, I have to pretend like I'm doing all of these extra things that you put in the handbook or that you put on the training sheet so that you feel justified in paying me money.
Oh yeah. But like, I think the real bad behavior that he did would be that he would get our home numbers, I think from like the application, and he like, we were all teenagers, so like I like started this job when I was 18, I did it when I was like 20, but he would like call our parents like when he wanted us to work, and we just wouldn't answer him on his like all caps text because we didn't want to work, and he'd call our parents, and sometimes he would show up to our houses.
Oh no!
And like harass our parents in person.
That's a top level fucking. I've never heard of that.
God. That's how I'm going to jail, man. As soon as my daughter's boss shows up, I'm punching that motherfucker's lights out.
I have never. I'm going to tell you. After doing this show for as long as we've done this show, the call-in show for about 2 years now, we've been doing it, and we've been talking to people about their jobs for 4 years, or 7 years actually, but we weren't talking to whatever. But we've been talking to people about their jobs, and I've worked 87 shitty jobs, and my boss never showed up at my house once. Although I did have a boss at one point that if you went to call off work, he would be like, "I'll send somebody to pick you up if that's the problem." Like,
that's great.
Somebody to drive to pick you up. It's like, no, I don't want to be picked up. That's a good
manager.
Yeah.
That's a really good manager. That's how you stay the manager, is when you can like set up rides for people.
Yeah,
because that gets rid of all of their excuses.
I mean, there were only a few that would ever do that for me as I was like getting older, or when I was a kid. I remember so many being like, if you can't get to work, then you can't work here anymore. And that was basically the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's depressing. I can't believe he showed up at your house, and like, what would your parents say to something like that? Do you know?
They would usually say like, oh, like Patrick, oh shit, that's my name. He would say Lonnie doesn't want to work today, and he would be like, he would call our houses and be like, it's a 911 emergency. It was just phrasing that.
What was the job again?
To be there.
What was the job?
I was a lifeguard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, okay.
at like private pools, at trailer parks and shit.
I'm watching someone die in here right now. I need a lifeguard, and your son doesn't show up. This person's gonna die because of them. I can't do anything about it.
It was mostly old people. It was mostly old people who would sit at the side of the pool and read. It wasn't actually many swimmers.
Well, I mean, it does sound like that you're being a little unappreciative that they were willing to give you a job, and like they were trying to give you money and you didn't even give a shit about it,
That is incredible. I gotta tell you.
I mean, I can't think of. I mean, I've never once had a boss show up to my fucking house.
No, if we had prizes.
Oh, and also just one last thing, is that he coerced me because I was like 19 and didn't know any better into working at a pool that was like an hour from my house for $10 an hour, which just like if I got a job at like the grocery store in that town, that would just not be like a thing someone would do.
No, they can't do that.
He like bullied me into taking this pool an hour from my house.
Jesus. I you know what? I wish we had prizes to send you because
Gift ham?
What?
You want to give him a gift ham?
We'll give him something. We can get a shirt or something like
You
that.
eat ham?
Do you eat ham? You want a gift ham?
Do you eat ham?
He's not into the ham, Brad.
You don't want a whole ham?
But he's got the worst boss I've heard of in a while. Yeah, we'll send you a gift ham.
I'll send you a
We've
gift
done it
ham if you
before.
eat it.
Okay, sure. I'll like DM you, I guess. And
Yeah.
like, I'll take a shirt, I guess.
Yeah, I would love to send you a gift ham or a shirt. Shirt is like not fun. A gift ham is way more fun.
We want to
for
send
me.
you a gift ham, but we'll send you a
Okay,
shirt.
well, I'm a vegan, so like if you get like a
Oh, that's what I was
ham,
wondering. That's what I was wondering.
Good. We're
Okay.
gonna send you a shirt. DM us so we can send you a shirt because boss showing up at home is something that I've never.
Yeah, it's unprecedented.
And if you want a shirt, you can
Dude.
buy them off store.streetfightradio.com. We got a shirt that says "Guys, Gals, Non-Binary Pals," and we got a Hellfire shirts that we need to sell.
Yeah,
So
a lot
buy
of them. Yeah, I remember when I had a job at Fazoli's when I was like 16, and I used to like rollerblade to work, and it was like
stupid.
snowing outside, and I called my boss and was like, "Can I get a ride to work?" And he's like, "I'm at work, I can't give you a ride." And I'm like, "I'm a ride around the corner," and he's like, "I can't give you a ride," and I'm like, "I'm not fucking coming to work." He's like, "You have to come to work." I'm like, "You know I rollerblade to work, and there's fucking ice outside. I'm not coming." And I hung up on his ass. And the next day when I went in, he acted so surprised. He's like, "I thought you were really coming in. I thought you were going to come in." I was like, "No, I said you have to come get me to come in. Like, you have to come to my fucking house. That's the only way I'm coming to work."
Yeah.
I didn't think that your little trick worked on me at all. Like, your reverse psychology didn't work.
You are going to come into work. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'll be there. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
sure.
You got me, you know? Oh, that's too funny. Well, hey, DM the Street Fight account. We'll send you a shirt for having a shitty boss. And have a good night.
All right. You guys too. And just go on Doughboys, Brian.
I don't.
We want to.
You have no idea how badly I want to go on Doughboys.
They need to come to us and do White Castle or Wendy's. Like, they need to come all the way to Columbus and do one of the many great franchises that we have here. I have to say, I'm not going to ask to be on that show because we are the center of a lot of fucking franchises. So they can ask us.
Well, I've talked to
Yeah,
Nick.
that's fair.
There is going to probably be a time where I go on and talk about Fago. He has asked me to do that. So who knows? Maybe sometime soon. I don't know. Have a great
All
night.
right, that's just like my dream podcast therapy. Good night, you too.
Peace. Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio, the number one anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We're coming to you out of Columbus, Ohio. We will be here later this week on Wednesday night. You can find us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We're going to be moving over to the Means TV, though, for our live stream very
cool.
soon. We got their keys.
Can we, real quick? So it was asked to pass this on. Actually, I wasn't asked to pass this on, but I'm going to pass it on for.
It better be grass.
For some great friends of ours. On hold on, give me 2 seconds, and I should have had this ready, but I was asked to pass this on, and the Trillbillies are performing with Lee Baines III in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I have been told just from some back channels, I know them, they're sweet dudes, that there's going to be a secret guest there.
Yeah.
I'm personally,
Maybe even a pair of guests.
Yeah.
And their wives.
Yeah. Personally, I'm chomping at the bit. I mean, I need to know who.
I think I'm going to go. I want to go to Cincinnati to see who these special guests are going to be.
Yeah, so we're going to be there, and we're going to, we'll
find out who
figure it
the special guests are.
So go to the Trillbillies page. Go to the Trillbillies. It's okay. Here it is. Sorry. It is at the. Oh God, could you take a little longer to open up? It's 9:29.
That's not far away, is it?
No, but we just called that the ABCD show. So I kind of fucked that up.
We're not going to do that for sure.
Well, it'll be the 6th then, and I got to tell my wife that I gave her the wrong date. Sunday, September 29th, 2019, at the Northside Yacht Club in Cincinnati, Ohio. I mean, listen, who could the... I hope it's a big guest, to tell you the truth.
I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Maybe Patton?
No, probably not. I wouldn't want to set the... I wouldn't want to set it so high that it was a letdown.
White snack?
I would actually like to set it very low so that
Okay.
when the guest comes out, they don't disappoint people by not being a very famous person. They are looked at as, you know, just a... But yeah, friends of ours, the Trillbillies. We're going to go to their show and have a nice night.
Yeah, maybe Minion Death Cult will show up. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Thanks for calling Street Fight. We do appreciate it. We do this every single week. You can call the number. It's 614-655-3887. We'll be back on Wednesday. I'm Brett. He's Brian. We're Street Fight WCRS on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.
Well, I'm glad I did that. I had the wrong date.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know you were putting ABCD in there. It's like a hard date.
Well, I wanted to do a hard date because we said we were going to do it. We'll just do it the 6th.
The 6th.
October 6th. Yeah. Zoe was over today.
Hold on. You're on the live stream right